We're back.
What
We're
up?
finally back together in person in the crypt. This is very exciting. Welcome back to Lost in the Dark podcast.
Hey.
We are here tonight. Okay, just to have fun.
Just-
Honestly,
yeah.
cheers.
Yeah,
Let's
hey.
fucking do this. Man, we've had a couple interesting things happen.
Brought to you by.
Buffalo Trace, not a sponsor.
Yeah. If you want to be, though, hey.
That would be awesome. Fucking Yeti.
LostInTheDark at
Yeti.
gmail.com.
Yeti too. That'd be nice.
Yeah, hey.
Oh,
dude,
well, we already buy all this shit anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Get some, embroidered fucking...
Oh, with our logo on it.
That'd be sick.
Fuck. Don't get me
I
excited.
use that all the time.
Oh my god, yeah. But no, we've had we right now going on. It's Saturday right now, and it's the Saturday of the weekend of Comic-Con. Comic-Con at home this year. It's all virtual, all the panels and everything. So far, in terms of the things I'm interested in, we've had a trailer for New Mutants, and supposedly it's coming out on August 21st. We had a trailer, and then today I watched a couple panels. One on Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was outstanding, hosted by Kevin Smith. And they gave a little some footage and a new trailer in that, and then I watched a featurette panel with Guillermo del Toro for the upcoming Antlers film. Guillermo del Toro and the director of the film, I can't remember his name right now, but I've been really looking forward to that one. Not a lot of people, I feel like not a lot of people know about that one. It looks like an incredible horror movie though, about the Native American folklore of the Wendigo.
I've heard about it.
I love the Wendigo stories. They're kind of, because not really, kind of Skinwalker-esque, in a similar vein, I would say.
Yeah.
But not really.
There were parts of that trailer that straight reminded me of the first Hellraiser movie, because what happens is there's this weird thing that's in the attic, and she I don't know, the main character or whatever,
the boy.
Yeah, or no, it was well in the
Hellraiser,
yeah, well Hellraiser, it was this woman that she tries to reanimate this dude.
Oh,
and so,
really?
Traps a bunch of these people in her house and takes them up to the attic, and then the thing just feeds on them, and eventually it materializes and stuff. So as soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, shit, that's kind of similar to I haven't really seen anybody else kind of do that sort of thing, the creepy shit in the attic or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you something right now that I can't remember what we were watching last night. Fuck. That had something to do with it. They were talking about, I know they were talking about something about Jason Voorhees or something, but I can't remember what it was. And Josh and I started talking about slashers for a minute, and I don't know if you know this, and you're going to get mad at me, but the only slasher films I've never seen are Hellraiser. I have seen all of Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween. I've seen all of the other ones, actually, except for the newest Halloween film, which I heard was very good, with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I liked it. I wasn't huge on the ending, but
a trailer for the sequel also came out during Comic-Con.
Halloween Kills, I think.
Yes, I haven't not seen that trailer yet either.
I haven't either.
But yeah, so that's I should watch that tonight. That's a good one. I should have fucking checked out already, because I guess she's a badass. She's goes all sit. She's in some kind of compound. She's Sarah Connor style in Judgment Day. Yeah. And she's all fucking ready for him and shit. That.
Oh, talking about the
new Halloween.
Yeah. That was. It was. It had a strong start to it. I thought initially going, and I won't say what happens, because if you're gonna check it out. But I will say that I didn't. I went into it thinking that this was gonna be the dead last, because in the way that they set up the trailer for it, even they were oh, this, it's you imagine a reimagining of the first movie, which is kind of right. It kind of is, but it's also it's a I don't know 20 years later kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it's kind of a timepiece in a way. But yeah, it was. I went into it thinking it was going to be the last one that they were doing. Mm-hmm. This is just going to close the story out, which I guess is maybe why the ending hit me a little differently.
Because you were expecting it to be an ending as opposed to what I assume was a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like one of the only things that's like, and I don't know, but yeah, we'll talk about it when you watch it, I guess. But yeah, I did really like it, and I thought for her coming back after so long and like playing this character again, she, it was like seamless.
It's always very exciting for me to see that. Sometimes it's a letdown, not necessarily on the side of the performance, but the film itself. Like with the newest Terminator movie, what made me so excited was Linda Hamilton's return. Yeah. She did great.
Yeah.
It was the story itself that felt a little flat.
Yeah.
It was still pretty good though. I still kind of there were definitely parts of it I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it was James Cameron again too, who actually did Judgment Day, the fact that it kind of fell flat on me a little was, I was like, really?
Yeah.
I really thought this was gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
There were those.
Hellraiser though, that's a pretty different movie. Like it's because it's weird how because half of, I guess like the first three are like mainline like stories for it, like they kind of continue the whole story of it, and then there's a movie, I think the fourth one, like Pinhead's not even in it, but what they do with it is it's very like it's a complete like it's using the like the source material, I guess, from it, like the whole box and everything, like the whole I guess like the lore from it, but they kind of spin it, and actually like it turned out to like if it were labeled as something else other than a Hellraiser movie, I don't know if it would have like caught the same way. But yeah, I think it's the fourth one. Let me see. But yeah, I was surprised for the fact that like he wasn't in it, and it wasn't like the main thing, but like how they wrote it and like how it was all kind of tied together, and eventually they do kind of like they do end up in hell, like that whole kind of thing comes back, but it's how it ends, and it's like just the how it all kind of like, I don't know, it's based off like a reporter, I guess, or like a somebody that. Yeah, it was either a reporter or it was like a cop of some sort, like an investigator or whatever.
Is it the final one in the series?
Let me see.
And are you aware of? Because this, I mean, it sounds not. It's very peculiar to me that there's a Hellraiser movie without Pinhead in it.
Yeah.
However, this is not the first time we've seen something similar to this happen in a franchise like that. Are you aware of Halloween 3?
Yeah.
Seasons of the Witch.
Yeah.
That
was a weird one.
Oh, it's like what the fuck is this? Like, because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And I was just on. This was back when I was on my first Michael Myers kick, and I watched. I devoured 1 and 2, and then I got to 3, and I was like, what the fuck? Where's Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Who are these people? Like,
dude, one of my favorites is the one with the little girl. I think it's the fourth one.
Fourth one.
Yeah. Dude.
That's a good one.
Something like the whole thing, like how it ends with like her putting the mask on and like walking downstairs, and it's like the camera's looking in through the mask.
Yeah. Which was a straight up callback to the very first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. People might hate on me for this, but the first Rob Zombie one hit me so fucking hard, dude.
Yeah.
Seeing the fucking backstory. And keep in mind, at that point in time, I'm in high school, all right? And when I'm in high school, I always wore jeans, and I did at one point in time have a jean jacket and a Kiss t-shirt and long blonde hair.
So you were Michael Myers.
So for a minute, people started saying, oh, you look like Michael Myers from the movie. I'm like, all right, great.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. It seems like it should be.
Yeah.
It seems like it should be.
Yeah.
But they did it was I thought he did a really great job. I actually think I saw like a premiere of that movie. I think Jordan and I won tickets off the Q106, the local rock station.
Yeah.
And we got to go see it like a little early down at Celebration Cinema. And and we got like a free poster with it too, which is actually still hanging in my room. And yeah, man, I loved that interpretation of it. I thought that was I liked it a lot. A lot of people didn't really care for it that much. which blew my mind when I started hearing that. I was like, that movie was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was nuts.
I could see where, because if you're looking for what because that, like, his version of Halloween isn't like it's gnarly. Like
I mean,
it's
the second half is fairly close to a carbon copy from the first original Halloween film.
That's true.
It's pretty
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
So it's like a 2-hour movie. First half is the backstory, then we get into
yeah.
Halloween 1, basically.
Yeah.
It's like a prequel and the first one all rolled into one movie.
Yeah.
Really well done. I loved it.
I could definitely see though, like looking at it from the scope of like, oh, it's a new Halloween movie, like, and not just going into it thinking you were just gonna get that same older experience, and then all of a sudden that's because honestly that's kind of what because a lot of times around Halloween, like I watch a lot of horror movies with like my mostly my mom, which is weird, like that's something that we really but she got me into a lot of like the Nightmare on Elm Street, and like I think we watched the Blair Witch Project the first time. Yeah.
Are you talking about like AMC Fear Fest? You ever watch that?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. When that was because it
still happens.
Yeah,
They still do it.
it's not. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of wavered off a little bit the last couple of years. I feel like they kind of focus a little more on like Walking Dead and like
Yeah, they do like the pepper that in
Yeah.
between like a Halloween or a Friday the 13th or
Yeah.
a Nightmare.
So but yeah, I remember
Blair Witch was great.
yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks because it's a movie that's good like once. And I hate saying that about it because like I mean and like I guess like the filming of it, like the aesthetic of it is like is half of it, and like just the whole like how they told this
it was
story,
the first
and
one like that.
Yeah.
The first like found footage
yeah
thing.
and it's been overdone so many times
but
now.
they invented a style that resulted in a lot of my favorite horror movies. Like
Yeah.
when that style is done right, it's absolutely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny you bring that up because just on a recent, I believe Fat Man Beyond episode, Kevin Smith was talking about the Blair Witch Project and the first time he saw it with his wife Jennifer, and she didn't know what it was. So he did, but she didn't. So she was hook, line, and sinker. Oh my God, this is real. Like a lot of people were.
That's the crazy part about that movie is like when it came out, they were supposed
nobody
to.
knew.
Yeah.
Nobody knew for sure that it was fake,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh my fucking God!" Like,
dude, I can imagine seeing that first time and just
not
being
knowing.
Like, when it cuts to black and it's like.
Yeah, when did that? Like that came out like early.
Oh man,
like,
that was
in between 2000 and 2005. This was before you could just Google shit. Really, like like it was fucking. What'd you find on that Hellraiser movie though?
Yeah, it was
the fourth
a couple
one?
of things. Yeah.
Great movie. I don't know. I feel like I need to go back and see it again because there's
Also known as Hellraiser 5. So I think it's the fourth one. So it was out in 2000. But yeah, it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a 2000 American horror film. It's the fifth installment in its Hellraiser series, and the first Hellraiser to be released direct to video.
Oh wow.
That was kind of the other thing about about just the Hellraiser series is I feel like they kind of took a lot of chances with it, and I feel like they and even as you're watching through all the movies, like the first two are the two that probably feel the most like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that it gets kind of weird. Like they start kind of going a few different directions with it, but you could kind of see like in the writing they were trying to figure out because it's even as you watch like the first couple of them, it's like you can tell it like what they were initially going for, but like there was kind of like a point where they were like, well, what else do we do with this character? Like what else can we, there's only so much that we can, kind of do with this, and so I feel like they took a few more chances with it and kind of started to switch it up. But also I think the last two movies don't have Doug Bradley as Pinhead, and I haven't watched those for that reason because I don't want it to be sad. But I also I love Doug Bradley so much as Pinhead, and just
You almost met him.
Oh yeah,
Motor City Nightmares. Yep.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
So yeah, that's definitely, and that one, that was, I think the first movie came out like 87.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's old school. That was like,
wow.
I think that was
I didn't know
no, Halloween was like 83, wasn't it?
Original?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
That's crazy though. I need to watch those movies.
yeah, they're like some of the greatest like metal one-liners
Literally just gonna say it.
you've ever heard. In your
It looks metal as
Yeah.
fuck. Like it looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it looks like Slipknot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I never thought about that till now. Holy shit!
Well, and the coolest part about it, because like the fact that it was made in the 80s and it was around the time when like they were like that style of horror was so fresh to me.
Mhm.
Like it is insane watching, because I recently rewatched it the first, I think, because I got like the series of it on the I don't know, like a big like collection of it or whatever.
Nice, you got the box set.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, just like watching the first one and then going on to like the later ones and just seeing like all the special effects
Yeah.
and like just how it's like it almost like you can almost see on screen like while they're in that, because a lot of the first movie takes place in the house that like it all starts in and stuff.
Okay.
And that's really cool too, because it almost becomes like a second character in the movie. But like
cool.
you can almost see just these actors in it just going nuts. Like just you can like see it in like facial expressions and like how the acting is, and like some of it's kind of like cheap 80s kind of like like tropes or whatever, but like yeah, there's some really cool like moments in it that I feel like have kind of been lost a little bit in modern horror and stuff. And I had been waiting for it because I know that they've remade or at least tried to do something with the Hellraiser series, but it's always
Exactly what I was about to bring up.
it's always been kind of weird to me, like because it's always
I'm just shocked that that's a series that hasn't been rebooted yet.
yeah.
Like it seems like it's low hanging fruit on the IP tree.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's tied up, maybe it's owned by somebody, maybe there's some legal stuff,
Yeah.
and that's why nobody's done it. But yeah, I am surprised nobody, like, we've remade Friday the 13th. There's a new Freddy. The guy from Watchmen, the guy that played Rorschach, played Freddy.
Like 2 or 3 times they tried to bring that back.
Yeah, that, and
Because there was
there's-
remember there was one that was like, I don't know, like 2012 maybe.
that's the one I'm
2013?
talking
That's
about.
the other
Yep,
one? Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. And then they did that same thing with Friday the 13th. And I will say that one was very good. Do you remember that one? Yeah, I think we talked about it before, because that's the one where one of the opening fucking scene, like, I almost can't even go back and watch it because of how insane one of the opening scenes is, when he strings up somebody in a sleeping bag over a camping fire.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Oh my god, like that. I can't. Like, I don't even want to watch that. Like, it fucks me up. Like, that's insane. It was so realistic, and
Yeah.
like they did such a good job. I remember. I have never gone back and watched it, but I remember really liking it.
Oh, that was 2009. Oh, I think that was
The Friday.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those, and obviously Halloween's been rebooted a bunch of times now. Rob Zombie and
Yeah.
the new series. That's the one. That's really the biggest, slasher style movie that's never out between. Those three are obviously the biggest. That would probably be the fourth in the big four of slashers, and it's
Talking about Hellraiser.
yeah. Who else would you put there? Anybody? Maybe I'm just not thinking of one.
And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about after you watch it, because it's not in a traditional sense
No.
a slasher movie.
No.
It has elements of that, but it's a very like fantasized, like very far out there kind of like pretty much like it's a metaphor for like losing your mind completely, and like, but it's also like it's like a descent into hell basically. Like, it's not in like the characters and like the Cenobites, they call them.
Mhm.
They're like the other creatures and stuff. Like they don't like chase after anybody in like a traditional sense. They're very like, you're here, and because of that you're gonna die, like kind of a thing. Like, because something has led you to here, and you open the box, so we're gonna find you, basically. Kind of a thing. So it's not really like campy, like
Right.
in a traditional kind of slasher sense. It's hard to kind of
Put it in that category at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a weird ass movie too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the first time I watched it, having not known what was going on, I was like, when the first movie ended, I was like, huh? Like the fuck? Like what? That all just happened? Yeah.
I have heard. I think I've even sent you, little articles, stories here and there over the years of murmurings of maybe we're gonna reboot it, but still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I would like to see it.
I really don't know, honestly.
It would almost be kind of cool if the guy that does the Saw movies did that.
Ooh. Wow.
I feel like that would work.
That would, yeah.
I forget who does it, but that'd be cool to see.
I guess getting back to like the Halloween thing, what I was talking about, like, is with, and I guess the the main difference between like the first, because like the first Halloween to today's standards is pretty tame.
Oh sure. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
there's things about it that is like it's kind of funny almost in some ways, like, but you could tell like when it came out, like I'm sure when you saw that in theaters for the first time, it was like,
oh yeah, back then there was nothing else like it really.
And that was kind of what I was getting at, like with my mom and stuff, is like we used to watch all of like the first couple of Halloween movies and stuff, and it got to that one, and I think I watched that one, and she was like yeah, I saw it, but she was like I couldn't watch that one. She was like, because she was so used to like, and like I don't know, I obviously like being more into just like the extreme side of movies and all that stuff, like I like it wasn't really anything to me, like even though it probably should have been, because there's a lot of fucked up shit in that movie.
What she's saying is she doesn't like watching it because it's too scary.
There's just it's more so like the subject matter of it, and it's very like super dark compared to the original, and I think maybe that's like kind of part of it is like, and it's like brutal, man. Like,
wait, the Rob Zombie one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Those are the two I was talking about.
Oh yeah. I could totally see someone. yeah, not wanting to watch in the same way that I don't like watching that camper get cooked alive in a sleeping bag.
Yeah. There's something just not right about it.
Oh, it's a little too fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. Like it is awesome.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
I don't. Other than that part, I don't really remember too much about that movie.
I literally remember almost nothing else.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head. Like, I feel like I probably should go back and rewatch it because I remember enjoying it. I remember leaving the theater like, "Fuck, that was actually excellent."
Yeah.
Like they did a great job bringing Jason back and actually making him scary again.
Yeah. That was first after. Well, I guess what's your? You saw Freddy vs. Jason, right?
Of course.
Yeah, everybody kind of
saw Freddy vs. Jason, Jason X.
Yeah. All the kind of bummers and.
But Freddy vs. Jason wasn't that bad.
I didn't think so.
It wasn't. I thought for what it was, for what they're trying to do, I get it. I like it, and they did a fairly decent job. I thought they did a fairly okay job with that.
Excuse me.
A lot of people didn't like it, but I was like, it's because it kind of airs on the side more of action than horror.
Yeah, especially towards the end.
Yeah. And I don't have any problem with that. I think especially with those two, like that's action I want to see anyway.
Yeah.
So,
dude, for one, I thought that concept was just gonna take off when I first saw it. I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna see like.
And I mean, with it, maybe I don't know which came first, but we did have a handful of Alien vs. Predator movies.
Oh yeah,
you're
right, yeah.
So maybe it did have some influence, like, but yeah, I thought we were gonna see a lot more. And you know what?
I thought we were gonna see a sequel, honestly, because of how it ended.
How it ended, yeah. And you know what? It's almost like you could pull that off now more than ever, because when that movie came out, there was
that was a weird time. Like
there was no other movies that had completely different franchises that brought together their main characters like that.
Yeah.
Now, in a world of DC and Marvel, that's what fans want.
That's a good point.
I almost feel like now people could pull that off even more so than back then.
Yeah.
I could see that.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
It's less of a stretch. Like it's harder to get people convinced about it. Because
Yeah.
I feel that would be interesting to me, because when I was pretty young when that Freddy vs. Jason came out.
Yeah, it was early 2000s, very early, I believe.
Which for one, it was a weird time for horror movies, because there wasn't really like, that thing that
Yeah, there wasn't like this is like pre-Grudge and Ring when that all took over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Pre-Saw.
Yeah.
You know.
So like horror movies and stuff at the time were very like kind of one-offs almost. Like they were either really really bad or like you had like the classics.
Yeah.
Basically. And that was like the first one I remember seeing it being like, this in some ways I feel like it works, and in others I feel like it could use a little bit of tuning up or whatever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's even hard now because I don't really know what other like slashers you could do that with, or like what other.
Yeah, because Michael Myers, while he seems to be invincible, they really like he could be invincible, or he could just be an impossibly strong guy.
Yeah.
He could like the other two have elements of supernatural about them.
Yeah.
Michael Myers, outside of the seeming invincibility, doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
just a guy, which is almost scarier.
Yeah. Dude, I always thought that the original Halloween mask scares
William
the fuck.
Shatner.
Yeah, that's scary.
William Shatner mask, yeah.
Yeah.
It is probably my favorite mask on screen ever, outside of the mask from Goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I love that's my favorite Goosebumps. Is the mask. I love that one.
Yeah, the Jim Carrey movie, right?
That too. That's another good one.
Dude, yeah.
Oh fuck, man! I should go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
That'd be gold. I bet. But
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. It's hard to even because like and like even trying to do like Jigsaw.
That's another
Jigsaw
one.
Versus like Chucky or whatever.
Oh,
like,
Chucky! Chucky!
I was never into those
forgot
movies.
about Chucky.
Yeah.
That might be the fourth slasher. That you could put that in the slasher category easily.
That would make sense.
They're rebooting that.
Yeah.
That just got announced at Comic-Con, bringing it all the way back. I believe it's going to be a TV show, though. I don't think it's a movie. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they released some sort of teaser, and it's going to be, I don't know if it's a mini-series or a full-length show, but probably a mini-series.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's not going to be a movie, I don't think.
No.
Which, hey, maybe someone's got some new take on it that could be cool. I don't know. Yeah, but I was never really terribly into those either.
Yeah, I always thought they were kind of dumb.
Chucky just didn't scare me.
Yeah.
I just was never scared by Chucky.
Well, it's like fantasy. Like it's and like I guess the first time that I ever really saw like a doll is scary is like The Conjuring. That was like the first time that I ever like, because it was like, and
Conjuring, or Annabelle.
Well, Conjuring was.
Conjuring showed Annabelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
Conjuring was brilliant.
Oh, dude, yeah. I still
That
every so often I still
They fucking did such a great job with that movie.
Yeah.
So good.
And even the second one, like I wasn't huge on how it ended, but much like I feel like I say it all the time about like current horror movies or whatever, but I always feel like they just fall flat on the endings, but that depends.
I really like how it spawned
the whole like franchise.
Yeah, it's got a whole universe.
Yeah.
And with the Nun now, Annabelle, yeah, and real life, Annabelle's actually a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Kind of funny, because I used to have my parents used to have Raggedy Ann dolls.
Yeah, and my grandma had a bunch of them at their old house. I remember it was just creepy. Like, something not right about them. I don't know. Like it's totally innocent. Like it's there's just something weird about just this doll sitting in the corner of the room that just doesn't blink. That just like.
But what if it did?
But yeah, and you were the only one that saw it. Yeah, like.
That'd be even worse.
Yeah, but no, even like I guess like, the second Conjuring movie, I love the fact that they took so much of the original source material from the actual case that happened at the house.
Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine Warren are probably the most prominent paranormal investigators in history.
Like down to like the clothes they were wearing, to what the room looked like,
my God.
And like at the very end of the movie, like I think the part that was probably most scary about it was like the very end of the movie, they show like a side by side
Yes.
comparison of like what
Yes.
the actual footage looked like and then what it turned out to be in the movie or whatever.
Yo, that was off. Forgot about. Yeah, no, I believe James Wan directed
Yeah.
those. He did a killer job
Yeah.
with those two. Like he really, that in attention to detail that he did in recreating what it actually was is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And if you've never heard of Ed and Lorraine Warren and you're into the paranormal, you need to look into them because they are probably the two most famous paranormal investigators of all time. They brought Annabelle to the way that's their case.
Yeah.
You know, The Conjuring was that house was their case. They actually did the fucking. They were there. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. And actually, we were talking about Saw. You said you didn't remember. James Wan did
Son
that
of
too.
a bitch.
Yeah.
Did he really?
He also did one of my favorites of the last. Let me see. Before I say this, I wanna make sure.
Wow.
He did. He did Aquaman too. That's right.
I didn't know that. I knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Insidious. You ever see the first Insidious movie?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. I didn't care for it as much as everybody else did, though. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it. I thought it was good, but it's just everybody else said it, like hyped it up so much for me, and it didn't really reach that hype.
Yeah. It was something about like just this cryptic idea of this dude finding a bunch of like murder footage in his attic.
Yeah.
And just like hearing it was mostly for me the music as the footage was playing. And like I think there was two specific points of it that still just fuck me up. Like every time I watch it, it's the one with where like the camera's like going upstairs into the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like slowly goes back down into the garage, and like that's where like the first murder was. And then there was the other one with or no, I guess it was three of them. There was the one in the pool where it was like it like showed them like walking around like the frame of the pool, and then like kicking somebody in or whatever, and then just like seeing them like in the pool like flipping out,
and
stuff.
That.
Yeah. And then the lawnmower one too.
Yeah,
remember that one?
Fucked up.
Yeah, dude, like that. And I don't know if it was like the noise or like the music with it, but like there's something, just like I bet when they were making those, like they just had so much fun with it.
Oh yeah,
they were like,
yeah.
this is terrifying.
I've actually watched some YouTube videos of people that work on movies, specifically sound people, and how they make like really nasty, crazy sounds. And they're just like. It's just like rubbing the goo together in their hands and stuff. Like it's kind of funny, actually.
Kind of to your point with that, like that was how I found out about a lot of the sounds in the more recent Mortal Kombat games.
Oh,
shit! Yeah, it was.
That's another one.
Yeah, it was this video of these dudes just like with this like green slime in a bucket, and like they'd be watching on the screen. It's kind of cool to watch, like just the whole process of it, but like. They're watching the screen like as it's all, because it's all animated and stuff, and then like as it's happening, they're just making sounds with the shit.
That's awesome.
And it's one of the weirdest because like they got like plungers and like
they use the weirdest shit. Like literally anything.
Yeah.
Anything they can like hit together or just whatever. Like
sound.
It's kind of awesome.
Sound design is like theater of the mind type stuff. Like I love that kind of stuff.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking fascinating, honestly. That's sick.
It's a big part of just horror movies in general, and a lot of like I feel like like the sort of conversation of like what is like, because to me I like what scares me the most is probably when there's like no sound at all, rather than like this like creeping kind of like eerie sound that's happening, or like this like the violin scratching or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just those
when there's
weird,
just no music, and just the situation is what's building the intensity.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's and really I don't feel like we saw that be like executed the way it was until The Conjuring, which I feel like is why that movie, and it's like specifically the second one, there's a couple moments in that where I was like, damn, like this is this is some different kind of stuff.
What was that one movie you told me? I really liked it. Where it was kind of like that, where people find a bunch of VHS.
Oh, yeah, man.
That
my
movie
God.
That first one was a fucking banger, dude.
Right?
That shit was terrifying.
They're supposed to be remaking those.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, I remember when I first, cause I I hated the third one. I hope you didn't watch the third one.
I don't think I did.
Third one was garbage.
'Cause I didn't care for the second one as much as the first one.
Oh,
so I
man.
doubt I watched it.
Dude,
Or maybe I did. I don't know.
The second one had the
They kind of bleed together. I watched them
that's-
back to back.
yeah.
I remember that.
The second one, I think it was almost better than the first one.
Maybe that's the one I remember more of then.
It was the I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute since I've seen it,
Yeah,
but
me too.
I know that the first one was the dudes that broke into the house and they
Yes.
found all this stuff.
Yes.
And the second one was the like these investigators that just found this place that like broke into it because they heard a bunch of stuff was going on, and they all end up getting murdered by the end of it. But there was that zombie scene,
Yeah.
and then there was the other one with like the weird cult.
Yeah.
Like the weird like Chinese cult where like eventually like at the end of it like you find out that like the lady like gives birth to like the devil or whatever, and like
Oh,
it like
fuck,
I think it like
dude.
eats her at the end of it or
I
something like
need-
that. Yeah.
We need to rewatch those.
Yeah.
I
those are
fucking forgot about that
those
shit.
are gnarly.
Those
yeah.
are good movies.
Yeah.
I like those movies.
Yeah. And but even kind of like to that point like they definitely do a lot of that. They do a lot with very little. And I like
Yes.
how it's like I'm for some reason like what I've been finding lately is a lot of like stuff that like tells short stories for some reason, which is I haven't seen the newest Tales to Tell in the Dark movie that we were talking about a long time ago that came
I don't
out.
remember talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know that
Mm.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh,
Movie?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that was the same way, like if that was set up the same way.
Sadly, no.
No.
I
Okay.
kind of fucking Aaron, you just made that movie better than
Suck.
it was.
Yeah.
It was still good. I still enjoyed it. I wish it had been rated R. It was still
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, brilliant.
He's awesome.
Fucking, I
Yeah.
just love his artistic
Mhm.
expression in the creatures. But that would have been a way better way to set it up
Mhm.
if it was like we found, like literally kind of like VHS. If they had done it like that, instead it was more like we found this book and then all which was the scary stories, and then all the scary stories started to come to life.
It
So
just-
almost
yeah.
kind of like Goosebumps, the Jack Black
Yeah.
Goosebumps
Yeah.
ones, but.
I never did see that.
And then Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark also had, at the same time, around the same time as the film release, they did a documentary on those books, which was also pretty good. I think that's available on Amazon,
Yeah.
I believe. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah, dude. VHS, man. Like I remember when
Forgot
I
about
first
that
saw those movies, I was like, why? For one, why isn't anybody else talking about
Yeah.
this? Because these are on some other shit
Yeah.
entirely. Like
You showed them to me, and that's exactly what I thought. I was like,
Yeah.
have I never fucking heard about this? This is crazy.
like and like because they kind of just like throw you into it.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird kind of set, especially the first one, because like it's the one with like the weird like vampire chick. You know, like
Yeah.
they go back to the hotel room and she's like, her like jaw opens up
That
and
was
like
sick.
yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah,
That was
there
so
was
good.
that was yeah. That's kind of why like a lot of times like I'll watch movies like that and then I'll leave them for a long time because I'll like try to forget about what happened because I feel like they're only good like a certain amount of times.
They're good. They're better with the surprise element. And
Yeah.
The longer you wait, the more you forget. And
Yeah,
it's kind of exactly what I just thought about Blair Witch Project, because I realized I have not seen
Yeah.
that movie in well over 10 years.
did you see the remake of it?
Wait, remake or sequel?
I
Because they made a Blair Witch 2, which I don't know if I ever even saw, now that I think about it. But if they fucking remade that first one and I haven't seen it, I absolutely need to see it immediately.
what the setup was for it was like 20 as one of those stories like 20 years after the original. It's like it's like her brother or something goes back because like he finds the footage or whatever and like tries to. I'm not. I might be slightly off on this because I haven't seen it in a minute.
I
but-
don't know if I've seen
Let's
that.
see. Yeah.
Fuck. I want to, though. That sounds awesome. I definitely want to.
Yeah, 2016, I think.
Yo, what?
Yeah.
4 years ago? I definitely have not seen that movie.
So
What's it called?
just Blair Witch. That's the cover of it.
How the
Never
fuck
seen
did I
that?
miss that?
That's
How the fuck?
Says a young man and his friends venture into the Black Hills Forest in Maryland to uncover a mystery surrounding his missing sister. Many believe that her disappearance 17 years earlier is connected to the legend of the Blair Witch. The first group is hopeful, especially when the two locals act as guides through the woods. As the night wears on, a visit from a menacing presence soon makes them realize that the legend is all too real. So yeah, they kind of get sucked into it a little bit. I don't feel like I liked it as much as the original just because of the like straight nostalgia of it.
Sure.
But I feel like with more and I'll probably watch this later and be like, man, that sucked. Like I hate it. Like because I don't really remember a whole lot of it, but like I just remember it was cool to see somebody else take that kind of story and kind of add a little bit more to like the actual concept of it rather than just remaking it and just using like what they could and trying to put something together. So
yeah. There
was also that that other one that kind of it wasn't like Blair Witch so much. It's called As Above, So Below. Where they go into the catacombs.
Yep.
Yeah, and they get lost down there.
Catacombs in Paris. I have seen that. Yeah.
That had like I think it was the closest thing that I found to one of our favorite movies, Grave Encounters. It was one of those I felt like because it has that like there's something about like caves and like
tight
like
spaces.
that just for some reason like fucks with me. And like I don't know if you've ever seen the Descent movies.
I saw the first one.
Yeah, there's something about that one that's just
lots of people love that movie.
Yeah.
And As Above, So Below, actually.
Yeah, I liked that one.
And I will say this about the Paris catacombs. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is footage.
Oh, it's
of
pretty wild.
I'm not. You know, there's the catacombs are fucking insane just on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this footage of it's a camera on something with wheels.
Yeah.
It's like a little like rover or whatever that you can control remotely. Some worker, some kind of I can't remember, some kind of worker guy sent one down into this part of the catacombs to look at something. I can't remember the reason for it being down there exactly. It's been a minute since I've seen this footage. But there is this fucking footage, dude. To this day has unexplainable. It's to this day it's unexplainable. It's pretty much impossible for it to have been faked in terms of it's pretty much impossible for it to have been faked outside of CGI and fucking CGI filmography, like top of the top people have looked at this footage and been like, I see no evidence of anything.
Yeah.
This looks 100% authentic to me. And you literally see in this video 2 times the thing's going and then it stops because you see some kind of creature peer around a corner and it like peers out once, comes back, peers out again, comes back, peers out again, and even like steps out a little bit and then goes back. And then I think the thing goes down and then like looks down that hallway or something, and then you see it again, but just in a quick flash as it like runs by. It's like a blur, but it's some kind of fucking creature.
Yeah.
And
I thought what you were going to talk about was there was another one. I don't remember where it was. We may have even watched it together. I'm not sure. But there was a story about these like they found this like video camera down there, like deep down there and stuff, and like tried to like find the source of it and stuff. And it was like I don't remember like what the setup for it was. I guess they were like trying to investigate it, like exactly what happened and like kind of like going down where it was at and stuff. And like during the process of it, they get lost and they spend like hours down there until eventually like they come out of it and stuff. Maybe it's the same.
No, it's not the same, but I'm starting to remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. I wish I could remember what the whole like setup was for it, because I remember they were like looking into it. There was like some footage that came out about like somebody hanging out down there, like seeing something, and all of a sudden like the camera just drops and like you see something like run past or whatever. Like maybe it's
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, you remember it was like 2 or 3 different guys that went down there with this, and they were like a tour guide that they went with.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Fuck, I'd completely forgotten about that.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it's the same story or not, but
no,
Yeah.
No, it's not. The one I'm talking about,
Something
there was no
different.
people.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just literally like somebody controlling this thing from outside,
Yeah.
and it just went in to look around.
Yeah.
I think there was something they needed to investigate, like they were investigating something, like maybe it was weird noises, but I think it was some kind of like sewer block or something.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know, because it's not a sewer; it's a catacomb. But yeah, that shit. That's one
The
that
fact
still
that
cannot be explained. It
Yeah.
fascinates me.
the fact that a place like that like openly exists.
Technically, we have something kind of similar right here in Michigan, actually. They're not catacombs.
Yeah.
They're not ancient catacombs. But, I don't know if you know this or not, underneath Detroit, there are gigantic, cavernous, old salt mines that they're somehow, I don't know how, but they are somehow accessible. And there's these giant old mines underneath Detroit that are,
Damn.
yeah,
It's
it's crazy.
probably something down there.
Something.
Yeah.
So the what's our Michigan little guy called? The Neon Rouge.
Yeah.
The Neon. We got a little devil guy here in Michigan. One of the folklores. Yeah. So yeah. Fucking. I'm hoping that we get some more. Well. Right before we started, we saw What We Do in the Shadows is doing their Comic-Con panel right now. I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping we get like a Marvel panel of some kind. It'd be really nice to see some, considering none of us can watch fucking Black Widow yet, maybe show us a couple scenes.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be nice. Like, that'd be sweet. Something, the Eternals that was supposed to come out in November, the Falcon Winter Soldier show, the WandaVision show.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some more footage of any of that. The Loki show. Man, yeah, I hope more comes out for sure.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like Marvel's been pretty quiet. So,
Well,
kind of sets. I mean,
COVID.
Yeah. Well, rightfully so. I mean, especially like with Endgame being like the biggest thing ever.
The only thing that's come out since Endgame was Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
And that's been it. And it was Black Widow was supposed to be out already, and then we were supposed to have. Can't remember which one it was. It was either WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier this November.
Yeah.
I believe they've all been delayed. I believe. But supposedly we're still getting Mandalorian season 2 in October. I don't know if you saw season 1 yet.
I did not.
Phenomenal.
I heard.
Unbelievably good.
Actually, I have to watch the last Star Wars movie too. I don't think I ever saw that.
You didn't see The Last Jedi?
Uh-uh.
Or The Last Skywalker? Whatever, Rise of the Skywalker?
Whatever it's called. Yeah, I think you combine the last like 2 movies.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it because I remember it came out around like Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was about to go see it. But
When we were talking the other night, remember I figured out that was the last film I saw in theaters.
Yeah.
I've not been to a fucking movie theater since December, which is insane.
Jeez. Yeah.
I'm a fucking... I live at the movie theaters if there's good ones out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obsessed with popcorn.
A lot of times, like, if you go to something, I'll be like, all right,
Yeah.
fuck it. Yeah. Like,
It's just exciting, though, that Comic-Con's still happening, and we do still have some new things. Because this is the first time we've had new shit to talk about. They were not at Comic-Con, but actually someone got a picture of the back panel packaging of a Godzilla vs. Kong toy, which provided us our first glimpse at the battle. That I got goosebumps just looking at that.
Man.
And then so and Bill and Ted 3 is coming out in theaters, but also on video on demand in September. So that's
that's not too far out.
No, we get a new movie.
Yeah.
That'll be sweet.
Do you think that because of all this and because like so many like giant movies have just gone like straight to download, like do you think that's gonna be like the end all be all for like theaters and stuff?
No, I don't think so. Because I think
you still want that experience, I guess. Like there's still gonna be people that
I still think there are more than enough people out there that are gonna want to see whatever the next end game is on the big screen.
Yeah,
not
that's
at
true.
home.
Yeah,
for the first time at least.
Yeah,
Star Wars, anything.
they're kind of back and forth about that.
I don't think it should. I don't think it'll kill I don't think it'll be the final nail in the coffin, but I think we are going to see a lot of them close.
Yeah. Sadly.
And that's actually a pretty good segue to something I wanted to talk to you about tonight. We've been talking a lot about venues.
Oh yeah.
We do have some news. You and I are very, we've talked a lot on a few different episodes about how concerned we are about potentially losing some of our favorite fucking places to see shows. Here I have a story that I saw just the other day. Congress introduces another bill to save independent music venues.
I did see a little bit of this. I didn't read it.
A new bill in the House of Representatives aims to keep struggling independent music venues afloat during the ongoing pandemic. Introduced Thursday by Representative Ron Kind, looks like Democrat from Wisconsin, and Mike Kelly, a Republican from, looks like Pennsylvania. The entertainment's new credit opportunity for relief and economic sustainability, parentheses, Encores. So that's the name of the bill, is Encore. That's kind of cool. The Encores Act would allow venues to recoup some of the losses they have experienced from issuing ticket refunds for canceled events by providing a tax credit for 50% of the value of those refunded tickets. To qualify under the proposed legislation, venues must be in the business of promoting, producing, or managing live concerts, comedy shows, sporting events, and live theatrical productions, and have 500 or fewer employees. They must also have first offered a voucher to customers before issuing refunds. This comes from Billboard.com, 7/24/2020, by Mark Tennelly, I believe. Okay. Maybe that's a photo credit. I could be wrong about the author, but yeah, like, and that's not. There's a lot more. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and read the whole article, but a little bit of hope, maybe. Yeah. A little bit of hope, a little bit of help, maybe. That's hey, yo, like,
it's better than
nothing.
Yeah.
50% of all the tickets you had to refund, like that essentially means you had a 50% capacity packed house this whole time. Mm. That's pretty huge. Yeah. Actually, that's pretty huge.
It's sure as shit better than the Live Nation stuff. I'm making bands like just eat it. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like, at least that's a step in the right direction, which we've desperately needed for.
Very much.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm worried.
I feel like I've been seeing a bit more about it in the past few weeks, but I still haven't really seen like a surge of like, because at this point, like all of the, a lot of places are still getting payment from governments and certain sects of it, and just like, I don't know, I don't really feel like it's as bad as it's gonna get, which is
we haven't seen anything actually close yet.
Yeah,
and I hope not, but we both genuinely feel like it's coming, and that is another thing we wanted to talk about on the podcast. We actually the other night, I was on YouTube, as every night, just fucking trying to entertain myself somehow, and
stalk the people real quick,
and fucking I found a couple YouTube channels I'd never seen before, that, and one of them in particular I want to give a shout out to. It's Concerts number 4.
Oh yeah.
Life, Concerts for Life. And it was nothing but this guy in the crowd at a whole shit ton of Michigan metal shows, a number of which we were at. Yeah. You especially were like right in front of them for a bunch of them in the Dahlia show at the Music Factory. That we got to like sit back and relive, and I that's something I wanted to talk about. Is like, we hear, and I get it. I fucking get it, and I somewhat agree with all the artists that you hear, like, come to a show, enjoy the fucking show, put your fucking phone down.
Yeah.
You're never going to go back. You're never going to watch this footage. It's going to sound like shit. It's going to look like shit. What are you doing? Just enjoy the fucking show. I get that. Okay, I get that,
I thought I got that.
and I respect it.
Yeah.
Because on some of I really genuinely agree with it. On the
Yeah.
other hand,
Yeah.
and I especially agree with them when you're talking people standing there recording like 3-4 whole songs and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get in the pit.
Yeah.
But right now, like, and for the record, I am the guy that goes back and watches all my old footage. No, in a normal basis, in normal times.
Yeah.
I am that fucking guy that will go back. I'm sitting there bored as fuck one day, just to the point where I go to my photos.
Oh yeah,
So
man.
bored, you go to your photos
Yep.
and you start flipping through. Oh my god, I went to this show. You start fucking watching it and reliving it, and then even more so, if other people in the crowd are taking videos too, then you get to fucking find yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, there I am! Look at me! I'm in the pit!
Yeah.
I'm in the pit!
Yeah.
Like, you get to find yourself. Like, and now more than ever, man, that stuff means the world to me right now. In a world where we can't go to see any of our favorite bands, being able to relive the times that I did on video, whether it's something that I took or finding myself in someone else, or even if I don't find myself, just another angle. Maybe they had a better camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds better. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I totally understand where the artists are coming from, and on some level, I 100% agree with them. I totally get it. But on the other hand, I also get wanting to genuinely relive those moments.
Oh yeah.
So
I've definitely found myself in that spot more than once during all of this.
recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really is like I really want to I don't know. Like I mean, it just made me so happy when I found that channel the other night.
Yeah.
And I got to see some of that stuff.
If you're watching this,
Yeah, Concerts for Life guy.
I was standing in front of you
Yeah.
at fucking
Yeah. Was it Music Factory?
Music Factory.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Factory.
it's been a minute.
Music Factory, seeing Black Dahlia Murder.
Like,
If you see this by any point at all, like send us a message, do something, because
Please.
fucking dude, like, for one, you've been taking some sick shots. Like, you've been like in a lot of the videos that you've seen. Like, not only were we at, which is awesome to kind of see and kind of like relive that. To kind of to your point. But yeah, man, like if you see this, for one, you're awesome, and for two, like it'd be sick to talk to you because I'm sure we got like
Lots of
stories.
stuff to
Yeah,
talk about.
yeah.
Lots of
So
stuff. Fuck, dude, that guy was at Michigan Metal Fest. He
Yeah.
probably saw you play.
probably, yeah,
He has footage of Recorruptor, who's
Yeah.
been on this show. Like,
yeah.
and as a matter of fact, Concerts for Life guy, if you are watching this, Aaron is in Bogwraith, who that night Trevor Sternad of Black Dahlia Murder gave a shout out to.
I was the dude hugging the other guy in right in front of you, and then proceeding to lose my mind by like circle windmill headbanging until
You were going so hard. It was amazing.
that show, like by the time that was over, because I don't feel like I had earplugs for that either, and we were like fairly close.
You were up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right up
Like,
front.
I think that might have been one of the last times that I didn't have earplugs for that reason, and like I don't know, we talk about it quite.
This is loud.
Yeah,
The Music Factory gets loud.
yeah, and I remember like even like walking out and just being like, "This is bad." Like, yeah,
Hear that shit for 2
Yeah.
days.
yeah. So at some point, yeah.
Maybe we should reach out to him. Maybe we should send him
Yeah.
this episode.
So if I figured it out somehow.
Like that yeah, it was just so cool. And so yeah, I don't know. I just want to kind of fucking because there's
Yeah,
a lot of people go back and forth on that, and I don't know. I like right now it's
yeah. That's kind of why I said I thought I understood it, because on the one hand, like I was pretty over it, especially at shows, like just being stuck behind somebody that's just like,
oh yeah, that's annoying
Yeah.
as fuck.
But on the other hand, like towards the end of it, like I kind of, because I mean, you know, like I get it, like, and one of the only reasons that I ever do it is because like there's just certain songs that I really, or like certain parts of songs that I just want to catch live, just because they're like favorites and stuff, and like and all. I had I found on my, because I every so often just because I like to kind of like clear out my phone and stuff in
Sure.
case it should die on me like it did with the last
You
one.
want to back everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was so bummed. I lost so much stuff.
Oh, I hate that.
What like stuff I have probably is just long forgotten about.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I found this on my computer. I found the first time I saw Flesh God.
Oh,
I saw And it was actually that same Black Dahlia show. That was insane.
At the Music Factory?
No, I think that was at
Oh.
I think that it was at St. Andrews. That was the Whitechapel show.
Flesh God was on that bill?
Yeah. It was I don't know where you were at. I don't remember.
Being an idiot? Somewhere being an idiot? Like,
Jeez.
not there? Being a moron? What the fuck?
I found video of that. I found one of their songs. I found some old At the Gates footage.
From the one we were at?
Which is awesome because I like if we ever have a chance to see them again, like I'm not missing it.
No. They're phenomenal.
They're legends. Yeah.
They were actually supposed to be back here this year.
Yeah.
At a small little venue too.
Talking. I forgot that they even announced this. Talking about like a 25. I don't know. Is it 25 or 30 year anniversary of Slaughter of the fucking Soul? Doing a tour for that. Like, we're COVID. Fucking.
Fuck COVID.
Yeah.
Fuck COVID. Dude.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Hate this thing.
Like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. To get back to it, like, found a bunch of videos of those. I found a few of the Whitechapel set.
Hell yeah.
I think I filmed the end of This Is Exile, which just gets me going all the time. And Messiahbolical too. I love that song. So yeah, like and you know, just to kind of have those moments of like, what's this? And then kind of click on it and be like, oh shit, that's that show. Like, and then just kind of watch it and be like, dude, this was sick. Like, I found a couple of Behemoth videos too.
Oh.
Yeah, and that
was such a great show. That was such a great
dude,
show.
Yeah.
And St. Andrews has been hanging in there. They've been doing a good job posting stuff. I like
feel
what the Machine Shop is doing too. They and the Intersection. They're like on this day in intersection history.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Max has been doing that a little bit too.
Nice.
I've seen.
Yeah, these are places we're worried about, but maybe they'll get a little help.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It's just cool to have that and to kind of go back to because I never and it's to me like I've always kind of seen it as like, you know how people, and I'm guilty of this as well, like every 4th of July you take like videos of fireworks that you're never gonna fucking watch.
You know, for the record, I even go back and watch some of those.
Sometimes, yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So, but like, it's just that argument, you know, of like that you hear all the time. Like, you're never gonna, like, nobody's gonna rewatch like pixelated, like fireworks on your your phone or whatever.
Phone,
like,
yeah.
Like,
don't post your firework videos on the 4th. Yeah, and I get that. I do get it. But at the same time, guess what? These fucking cameras are real good.
It's starting to be.
They're starting to be real good. We're about to get some real clear footage of Bigfoot real soon. Like,
finally.
Holy shit, man. This shit's getting like your phone.
Dude.
Night mode on your phone is unreal.
Yeah.
Like that shit.
Yeah, I've been going crazy with that.
Phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. Yeah.
It's
even like, cause I'm a fucking nerd. I watch a lot of the top 10 scariest videos caught on CCTV and stuff like that. Like, I watch a ton of those kind of videos. And even those, some of that cell phone footage is starting to, whoa, that was clear. Like, that's either CGI, a guy in a suit, or it's fucking real. Like, these are the options. Speaking of things that are real, as it turns out, the UFOs are real everywhere.
Man.
Holy shit. Holy shit. What did I tell you last night? What was it? We got some breaking news here, people. I fucking hope I saved the picture. No. I know where it is though. Hold on one second.
If you to preface this, if you have, I don't know why I keep like I'm in like vocal mode, I guess. Like,
do it.
Yeah, like I don't know. If you like, for one, if you haven't paid attention to the UFO stuff that's been happening, like you better open your eyes because
shit's going down.
Yeah, like
shit's going down.
There's been some news, there's been some things that have been coming out that any other part of this year, any other time this would have come out, this would be like earth shattering.
This would break people's brains.
Not only are we sending, to me, like, it doesn't really have too much to do with this, but like to me, like, I mean, you know, we had that Hope missile from the Arabs that went to Mars. It's like one of their first expeditions.
I don't know if I knew about that.
Yeah, that happened a few days
like,
ago. Yeah.
So they launched a missile from somewhere in the Middle East
Yeah, it was like their first attempt at it and stuff.
to Mars.
Yeah.
Was it like an explosion missile,
see.
or was it like a?
Or no, it was a. Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I said the same mix of stuff because a missile and a spacecraft are very very different things.
One has a very different
yeah.
intention.
But what were you about to say?
Well, I was just gonna give a brief timeline, I guess. In November, we had footage get leaked by I'm not sure who leaked it, but it was footage that a U.S. air pilot took, and it's like thermal footage, so it's not like you don't see details and stuff. But what happened in the footage is impossible, according to everybody. And it's like this, the way this thing moved, the way this object elevated and lowered, and the different things it was able to do, how it had how its heat signature was actually colder than the surface of the ocean. And so, like, it couldn't have that makes it impossible to have any kind of fucking, like, rockets, you know what I mean? Like, or anything like that. Nobody was able to explain it. The footage got leaked. It's called anybody who wants to look it up, it's called the Tic Tac UFO. Because it looks like a Tic Tac. It's like a little round, like the candy, a little Tic Tac. That happened in November. A couple months later, the Pentagon confirmed 100% that's real footage, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So the Pentagon confirmed the leaked footage is real. Now, yesterday, we have this. We have Pentagon on, this is New York Times. Same people the Pentagon talked to saying the Tic Tac footage is real. Pentagon on UFOs, quote, "They are off-world vehicles not made on Earth," end quote. The New York Times reports classified Pentagon hearings on crashed/recovered UFOs, off-world vehicles not made on Earth.
Yeah, I mean that's facts. Like that's confirmed by
I mean, look, here's my thinking. Okay.
Dude, it's such a bummer because any other time this stuff comes out, any other time that like this would be a possibility, like it'd be everywhere.
It would be the craziest shit anyone's ever fucking heard if we didn't live in a world of a crazy president and a crazy virus and a crazy just alternate reality simulation that it seems like we're in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're going to space. Oh yeah, by the way, aliens are real. Have fun.
The UFOs are real.
Yeah.
Now that's just it though.
Yeah.
What does that mean? UFOs are real. Well, UFO means unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
It means we don't know what it is.
That's true, yeah.
So, and my thing is we got this author. All right, she's wonderful. She's been on Joe Rogan. She's been on the D. Snyder podcast when he was doing it. Annie Jacobson, I believe is her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she did the footwork. All right, when it comes to the Freedom of Information Act, you can get lots of shit, but you have to know exactly what you're looking for to get it. You can't walk up to the fucking Freedom of Information Act people and be like, "I want all your shit on Roswell, UFOs, and Area 51." We have nothing because there's no document titled that shit. You have to learn the specific. You have to be specific. You have to know what these shits are called. She figured it out.
It's a password. It's a password.
Yeah, basically.
Got a secret handshake.
Yeah. She fucking did the footwork to figure it all out. And the declassified Freedom of Information Act documents on the Roswell crash say that it was not a weather balloon. It was not an alien craft. In fact, it was a Soviet craft that infiltrated United States airspace to the point we couldn't detect it, and it crashed on its own. We didn't shoot it down. But at that point in time, tensions were so unbelievably high between the United States and the Soviets that the government was worried that if the American public found out that they were able to infiltrate our airspace with virtual impunity, it would cause chaos. And so instead of that, they released the story about, well, the first day in the paper, it did say a downed UFO. And then the next day, it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
And then they as long as nobody was saying it was a Soviet craft, they didn't care what people said.
Yeah.
So they just let people run with it. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. If you actually read the New York Times article, they talk to like Rubio and a couple other senators and Congress people and stuff that are like, look, we don't know what these things are. They're infiltrating our airspace. They're coming over government installations and military places with impunity. They're acting in ways that we think are impossible, and we don't know what they are, and we need to find out because it's a threat to national security.
Yeah.
Now, is it a craft from another world, or is it a super advanced craft from another country? I don't think that, and that's what I believe Senator Mark Rubio went in on in the article. I believe it was him, and that's basically what he said. He said, that's the question that we need to be able to answer, and we can't answer it right now. So, on the one hand. On the other hand, name me a fucking government that spends more money on their military than we do.
I mean, that's facts.
So, who else? So, how is it possible that someone else has something more advanced than we do? I don't see that being likely, but possible.
Yeah.
And then earlier today, I learned about a government program called Blue something Blue. I can't fucking remember the name of it, but not Blue Book. But what this is a satellite that this is real. There's a satellite up in space that has the ability to project three-dimensional images into our sky. I swear to God. If they want you to see a literal city in the clouds, they can make that happen.
It's just a simulation. Is
that what these things are?
I don't
are
know.
They just projections from a satellite, which I didn't even know existed before today? I was like, what? What the fuck is that, and why?
Well, yeah, that's my.
I need to learn more about it. I just learned about it today, but so I'm kind of talking out of school a little bit. But when I saw that, it made me go, well, fuck, is that what all the UFOs are? Like, what is that? Like, so I don't know. But in any case, the situation that we're all in right now among COVID is that the United States government is saying 100% yes, there are unidentified, and what they refer to them as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. They don't call them UFOs. They have come out 100% admitted that there are things flying around in the sky. We don't know what they are. And they're doing things that we think are impossible, should be impossible. Yeah. And apparently they have recovered crafts that they do not believe were made on Earth. That's the big one.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah. There's actual, like, physical evidence of these things existing.
Physical evidence.
Yeah.
Physical fucking evidence. And according to the article,
there's no pictures of it yet, is there?
Not yet. But based on what I read in the article, I'm under the impression pictures or something more is going to come out soon. Sometime in the next 6 months, I believe it said. I want to believe, but I've always erred on the side of there's no possible way. There's no possible way aliens would even know that we're here. Like, it would literally have to be them just randomly flying around and happen to fly through the radius in which our earliest radio signals went out. Yeah. And if they're, 10,000 light years away and they're looking at us through a telescope, they're seeing us 10,000 years in the fucking past. So would they even see us? Like, how all that shit works.
Yeah.
It just. But then on the other hand, there are these theories that when you explode a nuclear bomb, there are certain particles that can travel faster than light. So if something out there were to have detected that, that might have been the problem for me lies in how would they even know to look here? Why would they look here? There's nothing else around us.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the likelihood of it for me has always fallen apart. However, so my thinking was always that the UFOs were actually our government. These are crafts that super secret, top secret crafts, much like the stealth bomber, that our government is developing and flying around and testing and seeing what it can do and all that stuff. But according to the Pentagon, it's not.
Nope.
So, are they lying?
I feel like we're kind of far past that. Like,
I don't think they're lying because
we're
why would they lie about that right now?
Yeah.
During COVID.
Yeah. We're pretty far past the like. Oh, do they exist? Is it because clearly.
I don't have any doubt that they exist. It's my only problem has always been, have they ever been here? That's where it falls apart for me. Until now, evidence seems to be starting to sway in the other direction.
Yeah. Which is pretty concerning to a point. Like,
I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know what to do with it. So, okay, what if they are here? Let's have a thought experiment.
Because to me, like, it's, we only really understand so much at this point that, like, I feel like the idea that something else visited us or is still, like, continuing to isn't so much of a hard thing to grasp, I feel like.
Well, that's the other fucked up part, is that if they're here now, how long have they been?
Yeah.
And what have they been influencing?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Ancient Alien seems a little less crazy. And that's the other fucked up part, is that I act like...
Well, Ancient Aliens is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. But...
It's also, like... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just when it came, like, really the biggest, like... Walking into Oz and you pull the curtain back, that big moment for me was when, and we've talked about it before, when I was watching an old sci-fi show called Fact or Fake that came to the guy in Lapeer, Michigan, who literally could show you and demonstrate himself right there in front of you on camera through a simple, made out of wood and rope pulley system, how you can push a pyramid-sized block, a Stonehenge-sized block with one hand.
Yeah.
I saw it fucking demonstrated. There was no way the ancients didn't know how to do that. So for me, that was a big moment. That was like, well, okay. Now we now know how humans built the pyramids and the Stonehenge and the Machu Picchu and all these incredible structures that we see throughout the world.
Mm.
We no longer need alien intervention to explain this. So that was a big, like, crumbling of that theory for me personally.
See, I don't like, because even with all that stuff, like, there's still parts of it that just don't add up to me.
There's still other things, like how there are certain stones that were cut at perfect 90-degree angles that required, like, a diamond head drill bit, which they obviously didn't have back then.
Yeah. Well, that always
kind of stuff sticks out.
Yeah, that always kind of, to me at least, that always kind of goes back to like just the idea that, like, we've, like, and at least, like, I guess talking from, like, a personal standpoint, like, that's always been something that's kind of been hard for me to grasp on, because it's like, we, as far as we knew, or as far as we know, like, or I guess rather are led to believe, like, we are at this point the most advanced that we've ever been. And again, maybe I'm misspeaking. I'm not sure, but like, that's
You, in terms of our current understanding of history, yes, you are correct.
So I feel like there's always been that part of it that's like, well, we are only as advanced as we've kind of figured out. Like we're only as advanced as we've been able to kind of like come to at this point, based upon things that have happened in the past. And to me, I feel like that's only half of it. Because I feel like whereas we think that we have the most like up to date kind of stuff, and like as far as like building like structures and stuff, and maybe that's true, but I also feel like that didn't come without the knowledge of what happened before, and I always kind of felt like it was in more like mostly with the pyramid stuff, like it's crazy to see these big like these. I don't know if monument is the right word.
Yeah,
I suppose maybe it is. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, just like seeing these things and just trying to like imagine like how, like even kind of with like the like with what you were saying as far as like how they would have drawn it. Like it still would have taken just the knowledge of like figuring out how to do it and figuring out like and just like how to compensate for like like all the like the different angles and like how they're so precise where they're at and stuff, and like
yes,
I don't know,
in terms of
like it's
astronomical alignment.
Yeah.
Not only that,
like
you can't go in it. It's got all these weird tiny little corridor, like the inside of it is still that's part of it I still don't understand. However, a lot of people say this guy is pseudoscience, but I think they're fucking wrong. Because look, most current accepted scientific beliefs were once considered pseudoscience.
Yeah.
But Graham Hancock, who, he's had a few missteps. He wrote a book once about the end of the world in 2012 and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. He's also had some fucking real shit. And as a matter of fact, just the other day on IFL Science, they released a study supporting his theory that basically human beings were way like our species is way older than we thought. We were way more advanced much earlier than we thought, and this human race that existed on this earth was decimated by asteroid impacts, floods, earthquakes, natural disasters, volcanoes.
Yeah.
There is tremendous amount of evidence stacked up to for instance, people like I don't know the exact fucking dates or anything. I'm a fucking idiot, but the fucking Sphinx. He identified water erosion on the Sphinx. Do you know how far back that had to be for there to be water erosion like that on the Sphinx? So it goes way back farther than the current accepted date of when that thing was built. It's way older.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So I really think that human beings are much older than we currently understand. They're in the story that came out on IFL Science the other day proved essentially that human beings were in North America like 30,000 years before the current accepted date, like way before.
Yeah.
Do I think they had computers and internet and cell phones? No. But do I think maybe they had some sort of very rudimentary form of mass communication? Maybe.
Yeah. It would have had to.
They built these massive structures, these massive cities that seem to fucking line up across the globe when you draw lines and all that stuff, and they all align with what we see in the sky. That I can, if you're an ancient and you don't have a fucking TV and your whole life is that living in that world, then what else do you look at besides the stuff? You learn that fucking sky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it has implications on your life, crops, seasons. It has very big implications on what you do. So when you see a certain constellation, that tells you, oh, it's this is a winter constellation. This is something, that kind of shit. This is gonna bring the harvest. You know what I mean? So
that's always been cool to me. How like just that old school way of like. And I feel like we even kind of use it now, mostly like farming stuff. Given I'm very uneducated in like what it takes to actually grow a farm, but I have, and the fact that like you can tell that sort of stuff just based on like the stars and like just knowledge of like, oh, well, this, it's this time of year, and that's, you should be able to see this, and that means that like it's how else would we have figured that out if not just from like prior knowledge or from like, like
Yeah, it's basically ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
like that to me is so, and like kind of like what you said, like, a lot of times it's, you think about like just how fast everything moves, but really like it's old school stuff. Like it's like basic kind of ideals that have sort of changed based on like just, like how the world has kind of moved, and the things that we've kind of experienced and stuff. So I don't know. It's
just right now it's an unproven, so I guess just an opinion.
Yeah.
But based on the evidence that I have been shown, and to anybody out there that wants to know more about some of this evidence, check out Graham Hancock on Joe Rogan. He really, 3 hours unedited, unfiltered, just goes in. And as a matter of fact, Rogan has had him on, many times. Once with a colleague who does similar stuff, another time, a couple times alone. And there was even another time where he had one of Graham Hancock's biggest, people, not opponent, but disagree, like someone who completely disagrees with him and always tries to like prove him wrong and everything.
Like
opposition.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
yes,
what you're
opposition.
looking for, yeah.
Graham Hancock's opposition. Yes, and in the course of that debate, Hancock kind of schooled him.
Yeah,
I think the guy was from like Skeptic magazine, even, or something like that. Something I can't remember. It was a couple years ago, maybe last year. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it like. And Joe Rogan kind of like mediated, and every time the skeptic guy said something, he's like, "Oh, hold on," you know what I mean? There's a lot of that, and like the skeptic guy ended up just being like, "Well, I need to see more evidence," like because he just hadn't looked at it and stuff. But Graham had, and Joe had, so.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and I really think there's something, and on top of that, so one place my mind would immediately go if I'm just listening to us talk about this right now is, if it's science, okay, and science is all about evolution and new evidence, and it's ever changing. That's its whole purpose.
Yeah.
Agreed. That is what it is supposed to be. But if you listen to a lot of people, especially these episodes, you learn about the politics involved in university-based science.
Yeah.
And when you are someone who has been teaching one thing for the last 40 fucking years, and then some new fucker comes in and tells you, actually, you're completely wrong about everything you've been teaching people for the last 40 years. As it turns out, that ruffles some feathers. So, so there are a lot of politics that go into this stuff, which makes it less, sadly, and anti-scientifically, in my opinion, makes it really hard for new ideas to even get looked at and not just dismissed immediately.
Just stick and be valid.
Not even stick, but just give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
Test it. Look at the evidence instead of just, nope, that's pseudoscience. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on in the university scientific community, which is why I think a lot of ideas are, really good ideas are ignored and not. And like I said earlier, he wrote a 2012 book, so a lot of people are like, eh. But look, fucking, I'm sure Einstein had a crazy idea once in a while. I'm sure Edison or whatever had his crazy idea. Newton.
That's the beauty part of science to me, is like it's ever changing, and like there's
Yes.
never, even if you're right at one point, you're probably going to be wrong
in the future
about what you said that you were right about.
And you should be excited about that.
What? Yeah.
I think you should be excited. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
I got us here. Let somebody else take it farther.
Yeah.
Because that guy would have never gotten there without me getting here.
Yeah.
I'm still a stepping stone.
Yeah.
It's still fucking important. I just don't get that fucking I don't get that pride.
The pushback.
Yeah, like they're like, I discovered this, so it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Why not allow for new potentials? Okay, even if it gets proven wrong, at least give it a fair shake and test it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just to just ignore it and keep when so many fucking things that I learned just a handful of years ago in college, and Jesus Christ, 16 to 14 years ago in high school, a lot of that stuff has already, especially go back to elementary school and middle school, science classes in them. So much of that has been proven wrong.
Oh yeah.
Shit we were taught as fact
Yeah.
has been proven fucking wrong, dude.
Yeah.
Over and over. It happens a lot. And the reason it's not that it wasn't, well, it was wrong at the time. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
But for me, that, I don't know. That's exciting to me. I like that. Like, I
It is-
want
it
the
is-
evolution.
Yeah. It is definitely weird that kind of like just objection to anything like relatively new, like like a different idea of the same kind of thing that we've been trying to explain from the start. Like, I don't understand why it's like there's like science gatekeepers somewhere.
Yes.
They're like, nope.
Yeah.
That's because
That's
like
a good way to put it, actually. Like a science gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you can't like eventually like, and I feel like it's kind of fact at this point. Like science is one of those, and like I feel like that's sort of why maybe there's so much like pushback to just like, to new ideas and stuff, is like, like there's so many things that like are like it's an ever changing thing, and I don't feel like anybody's ever right about all of it all the time. Like, I feel like there's more of that than, and I guess like next to probably like history, like speaking just from like school, like just from
What we learned in our public education system.
which I have gone to find out within the last like, honestly, a couple months of my life, that like I was like pretty ignorant to a lot of stuff that I should have been taught about, and I didn't really ever question it. But that's another
Yeah.
But I guess to my point, like, I feel like science and history are the two things that like are more debated than they are celebrated for newer ideas and newer things, because like it's so hard to kind of take this thing that is so like universally accepted and challenge it with something that's like, well, this also happened, or what about this, or like, there's so many that is just like, no,
Right.
because I don't know why, just no. Like, and I feel like it sucks because these are advancements that we've we can only really hope to make, and it can only help really help us in the long run as far as like understanding where we're going, and where and the fact that there's so much like like I said, there's so much opposition to just new ideas. It's like what do you kind of take from it at a certain point? Like, you got to kind of and
to kind of backpedal a little bit, I guess there is a kind of another way to look at it, in the sense of the status quo people, the people that are really resistant to new ideas.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, the way science works is it doesn't care about your opinion. So it over time, the people that push back against new ideas, if the new idea is accurate, then over time enough evidence will come out to make it undeniable. So in a sense, maybe that push in some ways, maybe that pushback could be helpful just by virtue of it. The more pushback there is, if the evidence is real, if over time it will be seen
Yeah.
and continue to be proven and more and all that, and eventually the people that are opposed to it in any way will not have a leg to stand on as a result of the footwork done by the people trying to get this shit out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's almost like, you know, you want to have a little grit, you want to have a little friction, you know, for growth.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's. I feel like science is also one of those things that's like, unless you have like all the evidence and like, or even if you do have like a lot of evidence and stuff, like there's still gonna be those factors of like, you know, yeah, but did you think about this, or is there this, or is there like, you know?
And that's kind of the great part about it, because maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
And somebody
that's
else
true,
can,
yeah.
and then it makes the whole thing better.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I don't know. I just...
Fascinating, man. Like,
really
what
is.
What a wild ass time right now.
It's-
With everything else going on, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Pentagon.
Aliens are real.
Like, yeah.
And, well, at least UFOs are real.
Yeah.
And by that, we mean there's shit flying around that's doing impossible stuff, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That's really what it... We gotta, you know... I feel like we're walking a fine line. We gotta make sure we're real specific. They have not said aliens are real.
Yeah. We're not experts, all right?
Oh, fuck no. We're a couple of fucking metalheads in a goddamn basement in front of an X-Files poster right now. Talking about shit we saw online.
But it's, I mean, fuck, nobody else talk about it. Like, whatever. So, hey.
I mean, not many.
Yeah.
Not many. Not as many as there should be. Because this is a pretty gigantic and insane revelation.
Yeah.
There was... Okay, so on a recent episode, they had and I keep forgetting his goddamn name, but I'm dog shit with names. You all know that. The guy that directed the new Bob Lazar Skinwalker Ranch documentaries on Netflix was on Rogan recently with a gentleman named George Knapp, who was a TV news reporter in Las Vegas, who originally broke the stories of Bob Lazar and Skinwalker Ranch. And he is also a longtime host of, I guess you could say, it's a radio show, but it's as close to the first podcast as I ever listened to way back in the day, Coast to Coast. Welcome to Coast to Coast AM.
To Coast, yeah. That was the first one.
Through the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
Welcome to Coast AM. Here's your host, Art Bell. I fucking love Coast, dude.
Yeah, man. That was like one of the first ones I remember.
Yeah.
You getting me into.
Yeah. I love it. And it's still on AM radio every night, like midnight to 4 a.m. And it's fucking great.
The fact that it still exists on AM
radio.
And
it's been since the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
Like, it's the longest running, I believe it's the longest running radio program in existence. It's like the Simpsons of fucking radio programs.
I never knew that.
Yeah. I
That
believe
makes
so.
sense, though.
I believe so.
Yeah.
It is, and George Knapp is a longtime host of that. And he is still a regularly report. He just in the last few years has broken major like corruption cases and a lot of big stuff actually. And that episode with Rogan was incredible. And that's definitely like that's a crazy one, man. It's kind of fucking freaked me out a little bit because he's like, if they are here and if the government does not have contact with them, so that means they really are just like here and flying around and abducting people with impunity, and we don't even know what the point of it is. For all we know, we could literally be their experiment, and then once we reach a certain point, yeah, there you go.
That's what this entire album's about, by
Yeah.
the way. Been obsessed.
At any certain point, the experiment could just be over, and they could just turn us off.
Yeah.
They could just blow up the earth or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So which one is scarier? A secret alien government cabal or aliens here just acting with impunity? No cabal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, both seem more likely now than ever.
Honestly, yeah.
Like before, I was perfectly fine sitting there going, oh, they're just government crafts and and we got nothing to worry about. The aliens, it's impossible for them to be here. I don't know anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Fat God, dude. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, right, man. Any other time, not during a pandemic. If this news had came out last summer, it would have.
Oh man.
The whole fucking world
Yeah.
would have been. What?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck did you just say? Like,
Or nah. Shut up.
yeah.
Shut up. Get out of here.
Well, and now it's just a passing headline.
Yeah.
Now it's just
Oh,
a passing headline.
By the way, the Pentagon, yeah, aliens,
Pentagon says they've recovered
Yeah.
down crafts from that were not made on Earth.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. How is this not
well,
a bigger deal?
I guess I mean honestly, I guess my first show me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
show me. Like I need to see it. I
Mm.
need to see what the fuck you're talking about. I
Yeah.
need to see what this is. I don't know, man.
Well.
It's kind of fucking freaky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, and now, because for years, a lot of the conspiracy theories have been there are more than one species active on this earth right now. We got the tall grays, we got the thises, we got the that's, the Anunnaki, the fucking, all these different species of aliens that have supposedly been here this whole time. Well, now all of a sudden, it's possible.
No.
And, like, are they... I guess the best we can hope for is we're not some experiment and they're not here to hurt us. I mean, they haven't
Yeah.
yet. If
Yeah.
they've been here the whole time, they haven't yet.
Yeah.
Except for, I mean, my abductees would disagree.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Is like there are so many abduction stories. Really, you think every single one of them is a lie or sleep paralysis? You think every single one of them is that? Every single one. Out of the millions and millions over decades on decades. Fuck. I believe there are abduction stories from like 200 years ago. Like.
Yeah. And those, yeah. Like it's.
I don't know what to do with that
Yeah.
anymore. I was perfectly comfortable beforehand with my little own explanations in my head.
Oh man.
And now the Pentagon just threw all that shit on the wall, and it's sticking.
They're like,
Like,
By the way, in case things weren't crazy enough right now,
just in case you were
yeah.
bored, figure we'd let you know the UFOs are real up here.
The government's like, hold my beer.
Hold on.
I got something crazy for you. Remember that Corona thing? Yeah, that was pretty wild, right? Yeah, you remember that? The whole race riots thing? Yeah, like that was insane, right? Yo,
Guess what?
I'm about to tell you about some aliens, man. Like,
Oh my god.
that wasn't. I probably shouldn't say it like that because it's not to like downplay like this.
No,
stuff.
no,
I'm
no.
just saying like.
That's facetious. You're making a joke. I get it.
Yeah, like the timing of it all is very, very strange. Which
It
is the only
is. It
thing
is because it's normally it seems like the kind of thing they would put out to like distract people from something else going on over here.
Yeah.
But it's not the case right now.
No.
Everybody is paying closer attention to everything than they ever have.
Yeah.
So it's that's not the case, I don't think.
Yeah.
And if it was, it didn't work.
It was real shitty.
You fucked up.
Yeah.
God, dude. Like,
I mean, like, short of them being like here's actual footage of an alien. Like like if they were to come out and say that, like I don't feel like people would have paid any closer attention.
I disagree. I think that if they actually had here are the photos of the craft we recovered, here are actual photos
Yeah.
of an extraterrestrial body. or
I feel
a video of
Yeah.
an extraterrestrial that is 100% real, I think at least for a moment everybody would forget about the pandemic.
I
Like-
think I misspoke. Yeah, that was kind of more what I meant.
Yeah.
Like it would take.
That's
yeah,
what
that
it
was.
would take.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leading to.
At
Is
this
like,
point.
yeah, it's like, oh, we've got like all this, evidence and like people talking about stuff and like, oh, there's like, video evidence of like, these things that we've seen out past our, past where we can the regular person on Earth can get to, like, and we're seeing these
And-
things and stuff and like, yeah,
There are very famous old videos that, according to the people that released them, were snuck out
Mm.
of government installations that are actual videos of real aliens.
yeah,
Now, these videos have been circulating online since YouTube existed.
Yeah.
And I've seen them a million times. And it's, it's either real or an elaborate hoax.
Yeah.
If the Pentagon were to come out and say any one of those videos were real,
oh, that's a different conversation.
that shit hitting the fucking
Yeah.
fan, bro.
yeah,
They don't even have to. If any of those are real, they wouldn't even have to release something current. If they just identified any one of those videos, no, we took that. That's
Yeah.
100% authentic.
yeah,
Then I'm shitting my fucking pants. Like there's no.
Yeah.
That's. You claiming you have a downed craft from another world and not showing me any pictures is one thing. You come out and tell me one of those videos is real, we're having a completely different conversation.
yeah. That's what I mean. I don't know.
A lot of, like I said, these goddamn fucking cameras that everybody carries around in their pockets are getting so good
Yeah,
that I really do feel like we are going the footage that we're gonna start getting of things already are getting of certain things.
yeah,
It's either a hoax so good you should be working in movies, or it's fucking real.
yeah,
Like if you're that talented to make this shit happen on camera in the way that you did,
what are you doing?
why are you making hoax
Yeah.
YouTube videos?
Yeah,
Why aren't you working in film?
yeah,
Like, because you are really good. Like,
yeah,
and a lot of them that I've seen, honestly, lately, because I've been, I've been itching for. See, that's the thing. That's the other thing. I go to fucking concerts all the time, and I do my paranormal investigations a lot, and I haven't been able to do either. So I've just been doing nothing but watching live concert footage and fucking scary, homemade whatever videos of supposed ghosts and Bigfoots and dogmen and aliens and everything.
crazy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just been diving deep down these rabbit holes lately. And I mean, it's just I'm cooped up, man. I'm fucking antsy.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to say very little about this. I'm glad that you're at least on the right side of the conspiracies, like, because there's a lot of really shitty ones right now. That, like,
Oh god.
yeah.
Oh god, this 5G shit. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. Go
the more
fuck yourself.
speaking, I don't think we should get too into it, but speaking more so about like the like, political side of.
Well, I just don't apparently there's a conspiracy theory about the masks that I don't understand.
What do you mean?
I guess I don't really know. All I really know about it is someone told me there's a conspiracy theory about the masks. They think the government's using the masks to control people. I'm like,
No. No.
What
No.
are you talking about? What the fuck are you like? That doesn't even make a shred of sense.
I have never like put one on or have ever come in contact with somebody that's put one on and hadn't been like
Yeah, you put it on.
yeah. You got like Terminator, like Third Eye kind of stuff. Yeah.
I must kill.
Yeah. Like
I'm the
sorry.
Manchurian candidate.
Yeah. I'm sorry if that's what you think that happens, and if that's the case, then you got some more issues.
I have no fucking idea what that one is. Yeah, there's some very bizarre ones going on right now. And for the record, COVID's real. I know people that have gotten it, that have died from it. You can't tell me it's not fucking. I know I have friends, a handful of friends that work in hospitals. You cannot tell me this shit's not fucking real.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get any of that. That's just, I don't understand.
When we live in a world where alien footage and footage of UFOs makes more sense than conspiracies about
what's going on.
about a real virus that's happening, about a real thing, like we're less like that's kind of concerning.
That's
like
a little concerning.
Like
we're not on the right track.
we're more open to videos about aliens than things that are facts that are happening right now that like doctors can prove these things, and we're like,
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Here's a suggestion for everyone, actually. I recently got into the podcast called A Wild Ride with Steve-O.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone.
I'm going to walk away real quick.
Go ahead. Everyone watching this, because I've already told you all this, everyone watching this should check that podcast out. First of all, the second to newest episode was with Sharon fucking Osbourne. She gives an update about... Oh, shit. Look at that. She gives an update about Ozzy. I guess he's doing really well. And he has started working on the follow-up to Ordinary Man with Andrew Watt. Personally, I hope they get a lot of guests like Axl Rose and Slashback, and, a lot of, another one with Elton John would even be awesome. I love that song. But... So that's cool. And for the record, it was episode 16 of the Steve-O podcast. How the fuck are you only 16 episodes in and you can get Sharon fucking Osbourne? Like, man, it just really blew me away. And it was a really great episode, and I highly recommend it to everybody. I had no idea Steve-O was such a giant metalhead. As a matter of fact, if you follow him on Instagram, one of his most recent pictures is him with a fucking mask on, and it's a Slayer mask. He's obsessed with Ozzy. They talk about Lamb of God in that episode for a minute. They talk a lot about Ozfest. They talk about Dio. They talk about just fucking so much really awesome stuff. They tell really great stories, really famous Ozzy stories, and how, like, separating the myth from the fact and all that kind of stuff. It's phenomenal. And he's also had Wee Man on, Bam, Tony Hawk, Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura, John Jones, Ronda Rousey, just like unbelievable lineup of guests. And for me, part of the reason why I connect with it so much is because it's Steve-O. We all know Steve-O, Jackass, and he he's sober. He's like I believe over 10 years sober. And he's been doing stand-up comedy the whole time. And it reminds me, Steve-O is doing it differently because he's got on a guest every episode. But it reminds me so much, in a lot of ways, of the first 100 episodes of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, which was the first actual podcast I ever got. Without me hearing Jay and Silent Bob, we never get to Lost in the Dark, plain and simple. So... these episodes with Steve-O really remind me of those first 100 episodes of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, where it's just essentially Jay telling his stories, his drug stories, everything he went through, and all that stuff. And it's fucking these episodes with Steve-O are fucking phenomenal.
Oh, man.
He goes into a lot of that. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because he's now done 2 episodes. I believe originally episode 3. And now the newest episode, I believe, both are Dr. Drew. And...
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Dr. Drew has his own podcast.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Just, like...
And he's friends with Steve-O, apparently.
Yeah, that's where you lose me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they've apparently known each other for quite a long time, actually.
Huh.
And
all right.
they talk about a lot of what's going on right now with the COVID and everything, and hearing Dr. Drew's perspective on everything is really informative, and I feel like it's something it's something really cool. A lot of people should watch.
I like knowing kind of what I know about Dr. Drew, mostly from like the weird ass reality shows he did a while ago. I was kind of off put by him a little bit, just because like I'm always kind of like not so much like skeptic, but like just like TV doctors, like half the time they're not actually like,
practicing physicians.
Yeah, like Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like the thing that makes Dr. Drew a little different is like his like he's not trying to make like a spectacle of himself. Like he's not trying to like he's basically like just trying to relay what he knows, and
he still has a practice.
Yeah. That's
he is an active doctor.
Basically, yeah.
You can go see him as a doctor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Now, see, I guess I felt the same way kind of initially. I put him in that category of TV doctor. Y'all are fake. Yeah. I don't need to listen to you, but.
Well, because I think it's because I not to cut you off.
No.
I think it was because I saw him on that. Was it like Celeb Rehab show or something like that? And just those, I don't know, those kind of shows to me are always just. It's like never really got into them. So I like, and I guess like that's my kind of knowledge of.
It's your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And I immediately put him in that group initially as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that I don't have that perspective. I've never seen him on TV ever. Never watched anything he's ever been on. I've only heard him on podcasts ever. So having that perspective, he seems a lot more legit. Than pretty much than any of the others. And Steve-O even made the point. I believe it was on the first episode that Dr. Drew was on, episode 3 of the Steve-O Wild Ride. I think. Only 17 episodes deep for the record, so you can jump in right at the beginning. Yeah, that's what he said. Steve-O was like, you the most famous doctor with a current practice? And, Dr. Drew didn't know how to answer that, but but Steve-O was like, no, you are.
Yeah.
So.
I guess that is the main difference, yeah.
And he actually, like, I guess he said he actually works with people because he lives in Los Angeles, and he's actually working with people in the Los Angeles city government. They talked a lot about the homeless problem in Los Angeles. It's actually, there's shit in there I did not know.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually fucking insane. And so he and I guess a lot of people have wanted him to be mayor of Los Angeles. He's like, I don't fucking need to do that. I can work on this shit without being mayor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that position. So
that's smart at this point. We need more of those.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want another reality star in office. Like or
there are some that maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
There are I don't know. Look.
I guess of the ones that there could be, like he'd
be a good one.
Yeah.
He'd be a good one. And the fact that he doesn't want to do it is what makes him a good one.
I know I could, but I also know that I really shouldn't, so I'm not going to.
Well, he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have no interest in that position of power.
Yeah.
I feel like I can affect change, maybe even better change by not doing that. Yeah. And I really respect that position.
For sure, yeah.
But great podcast, man. It's so fucking good.
The one, the Sharon one I was listening to, there was the thing about there was so much on there.
Yeah,
that,
there was a lot. It was packed.
Just
about
Sabbath being signed and stuff, and like there's that thing about like the doves or whatever that happened.
Yeah, that's one of those
at the signing.
Myths and stories that they worked out. You know.
Yeah, it's just honestly, like it's cool that something like that exists, because I feel like to me, somebody, because like I like everybody else know Steve-O from Jackass, and that was my initial response. I was like, really, like
he's got like really like but then like it was mostly like the guests that he's got on it and stuff, and just like
so impressive.
some of the stuff that they get talking about, I don't feel like ever gets brought up in any other way, and that's kind of what kept me like listening to it, because I think I listened to the Sharon one, and then there's one other one.
Bam.
I feel like I think I started that one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, just because I I definitely paid more attention to Bam Margera than a lot of the other ones. Mostly just because he had his own show and stuff, and for the longest time, like he was all over the place.
You're a big fan.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely. No, and it's that was a really good one, and it's kind of weird because I've heard since then, I've actually found Bam on a couple other podcasts and listened to him on there. I don't know, maybe he just had an off day that day. He just kind of like. I don't know. Maybe it was because they were on Zoom or something, but like I just felt like the conversation never really got into like the right flow. And Bam was a little like choppy, almost a little bit. But then I've seen him on other ones, and he's fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe it was just that day he had whatever.
Yeah.
That's everybody. I go back and listen to some old episodes of Lost in the Dark. We've had some choppy days.
We got episodes where they're pretty spotty.
Yeah. Like that's just the thing.
Yeah.
However,
you can't really change how you feel all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just like bummed.
Yeah. And I can't wait till he gets fucking Johnny on. That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, man.
But
yeah,
the one with Wee Man was outstanding.
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet.
The one with Wee Man was fucking outstanding. Apparently, Wee Man is like a fucking like he owns a chain of taco restaurants.
What?
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, he's like a fucking businessman. Like he's got a bunch of fucking businesses and shit. Like really cool. That was I loved that. Yeah, because Bam, Steve-O is such high energy. Bam was a little low energy. Wee Man matches Steve-O's energy, and on the podcast at least. And I hope that he has Bam back on. I want more of that for sure. It was still a great. I'm not saying it was a bad episode in any way at all.
Yeah.
At all. But it was fucking. And another thing that I love about that podcast is like, if you actually listen to it all the way through and you listen to the little ad reads and stuff, even sometimes, he's so genuine. He's like, look, we're fucking 16 episodes in. Tweet me. Share this shit. I will respond. I want to know if you have any criticisms. I want to know what they are. Like he's like so fucking like
into it.
Into it and honest about it, just like we have been. Like fucking, like just so like, and even him. Like it's so fucking awesome to hear someone just getting into podcasting. If you go back to the first episode was Tony fucking Hawk. Episode 1 is Tony fucking Hawk.
Damn.
Episode 2 is Burt fucking Kreischer. Those are the first 2 episodes. And
those are huge names, man.
Especially the Burt one, because by then Steve-O had done one, and now he's doing another one. And they end up talking about it. And Steve-O even said after we were done with the Tony Hawk one, I was like, holy shit, man, I'm awesome at this. This is great. And then I hit up my producer, and he's like, you should come over. Let's talk about this. And then he like pointed out all the things that, and I didn't even pick up on it, but like a couple things that like, you could have done this different, kind of thing. And then immediately Steve-O went, I need to get better at this. I want to get better at this. And he even talks about like the internal battle of just recording and posted unedited. He talks about that internal battle. That's something that we went through when we started this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so cool to hear that process played out.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we went through. It's genuine. It's honest. It's real. And it's something that I think a lot, and that's part of the magic and the art to me of a podcast, because it's really just sitting down having a conversation. But when you go back and listen, you're like, oh, I could get better.
Yeah.
And then you continue to, and then you learn the art of conversation just by virtue of simply doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just really love podcasts where you get to watch that growth, and you get to they try different things. They abandon some things stick. I love that evolution. Getting to watch the evolution, much like bands. That's why when we find a band, we fucking stick with them, even if we don't like the last album released, we're still buying the next one because we want to hear the evolution.
Yeah.
So
You're still a fan of it.
yeah. So I don't know. Like it's just really cool
Yeah.
to hear that for me as a fan of podcasts.
Yeah.
Love
Well,
it.
it's definitely something you don't really hear about a whole lot as far as like at least to my knowledge, like of the bigger ones that have come out, and just to have somebody, and I guess that's kind of like one of the other things I liked about that Steve-O one is like he has a real like honest way about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's very like I just started this, like I don't know what I'm doing, and like there's something about that's very like for one, like I know what he's talking about because like even now like we're still learning this.
We're still learning. Yeah, not to say we're experts,
Yeah.
but we know we have. But at the very least, we have 140 plus episodes worth of learning.
Yeah.
We're not experts. We're not fantastic yet, but we know the process better.
Yeah.
You know, we have an understanding of what's going on. So as opposed to just jumping in like we did in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of that is like, to me, something that always helps with like growth and stuff is figuring out like what it like it, because a lot of times it's hard to figure out where to start with things like this.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, you know, well, I know if as long as you can figure out what you don't want, what you don't like seeing, then a lot of times you can kind of narrow it down to like, well, this would be cool. Like I would enjoy this. And like really, like what it comes down to for me is like, would you watch what you're doing? Like, would you,
Are you a fan of what you're making?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Yeah.
That's so, outside of the, my selfish reasons that I've talked about before, that is the other biggest catalyst for having created this podcast is simply, we had we still have the great and wonderful fucking Jamie Josta show, which is the probably the best metal podcast out there. But outside of that, we didn't have very many at all. And even the ones we do rarely talk about the things I want to hear about as a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was literally a giant. I want to make something that if I stumbled across it online, I would become a fan.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah.
That's and what we are still doing because this is very much like because when I go back on occasion and watch an old episode just to check up, it's healthy. I feel, not in a narcissistic way, but like to go back and just like, how are we doing? How many times are we saying little shit, just to let me see the little shit every once in a while. And every time I go back and do that, I'm like, because by the time I go back and watch it, I've completely forgotten everything we talked about. So I don't even feel like I'm watching myself.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like I'm watching someone else, and I sit down with the intention of watching 10 minutes. I end up watching the whole thing.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think we're hitting it. I think we're starting to hit it, and
it took me a long time to like want to go back and like watch some of it, because honestly, like that's really, and that like that's just how I am about things. Like it's like, and I don't know how to explain it in any other way other than like I was there, I was a part of it, and it's there if I want to see it.
Yeah,
if
I saw
it
when it happened.
Yeah.
Are you that way about your music?
See, that's a little different because that is like, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess like fundamentally it isn't, because at the same time, like watching back something like this, like I always pick up something I could do better. Like, and it's very much the same with music, except with music, like you're kind of in a spot where you have to kind of perform it a little bit.
Well, I guess I mean, is it as hard for you to go back and watch a podcast episode as it is to go back and watch the Flesh video? Is it the same kind of feeling, or is it something different?
I guess it's a little. I guess it's a little similar. Mostly, I say that because I I haven't really gone back and watched that video.
Have you ever watched that video?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of times when it
Okay.
first came out, and I was showing it to people.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
But after that, yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that's like, it's like I was there, I was a part of it. Like I know what happened. Like I know the song. Like I know like
Yeah.
what it's about and stuff. But like yeah, I mean, I guess with podcast stuff, it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different because we drink and we forget about everything we talked about.
That's part of it, yeah. But also like it's it's a long form conversation, and I know that we've talked about before. Like it's one of the only times where I can ever actually go back to a certain episode or like certain point in when we were doing it, and I could remember exactly how I was feeling, what was going on, where I was, and I guess it's a little bit the same for music, except with music, like it's reoccurring.
Right.
Like you always kind of remember where you were at when you wrote that, or you always kind of remember, and like I don't know, they have their similarities, but like I feel like listening to myself play a song versus have a conversation is kind of a totally different experience, because it's hearing yourself talk for a long period of time, which I mean,
weird.
Yeah, anybody that really knows me knows how fairly quiet I am for the most.
He's a quiet guy, believe it or not.
Yeah. And it even it took me a long time to kind of get used to that, and to actually want to like go back and like listen to some of like the older episodes, are kind of like, but and every time I do, I'm like, damn, like that was
fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
I mean, we've had and that's the other thing is like it's the only thing that I can pinpoint to that's like specific times of like just fun stuff was happening.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking about something I was excited about, or like that we were doing, or like that something that happened, or like just
Usually
yeah.
it's concerts we went to.
yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that is true, because like we put this out and we just did it once, whereas by the time you release a song, you've played it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know it in and out. Whereas this is we don't we don't know this shit in and out at all, and we just release it.
Very, very loose ideas, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's, I mean, at the same time, like it's also very different to put it all together, because like sometimes with songs, like it's I mean, I guess like with the writing process, it's very similar. Like sometimes we go in with ideas, or like you have a certain idea that you want to kind of jump off of. You want to kind of like use that as like a starting point, and then you just kind of like write onto it and stuff. And then with podcast stuff, it's kind of the same thing. Like we just every like I'll at least before every episode or whatever, like every time we record, I'm like try to have like some kind of idea of where it could potentially go, and 99% of the time it never ends up there.
Yep.
But that's like that's kind of like it's organic to me, and like
Yes.
that's what's cool about it. And that's also a bigger difference with recording music based on like it's with music, like there's a defined beginning, middle, and end, and there's like you know when it's time to walk away from a song, and like that like at some point, like when it's done to your to where you would like kind of expect it, or like what you're hearing or whatever. But with podcast stuff, man, it's like, I mean, how many times have we started with one idea and either never, ever, ever even mentioned that idea, or talked about it once and then moved on to something else for like another hour?
Yeah,
That,
we talk for 3 hours. We end the episode. We stop recording. Like,
we never even talked. Yeah.
I thought this episode was gonna be about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, take that episode in between the two Lamb of God episodes.
Yeah.
That episode was meant to be Lamb of God Part 2, and it ended up just being
Yeah.
rabbit holes. Yeah, it's part of the magic, though.
Yeah.
It's part of the fucking. To me, that's part of the charm. That's part of the.
It's yeah.
And I love something that Burt Kreischer said on the CVO podcast. He loves like how he described it.
Mhm.
He's like, I love the broken parts. I love it, like because he was talking about one time, I believe he was talking about an episode with Doug Stanhope, and he was like, Doug Stanhope was like we were sitting there trying to record, and there was like a chicken screaming in my backyard laying eggs, and we ended up talking about that. And there was another one, I can't remember who was on, But they were sitting there in Bert's man cave, and fucking they were the guest was like looking out the window, and he was like, "Is that a rat?"
Yeah.
And I guess he's oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got giant rats in our backyard because apparently rats love fruit trees, and there's obviously lots of fruit trees in California, so there's a lot of rats. But like, and I do like those. I do too, because it makes the podcast more authentic to me. Like when I'm sitting there watching one like that, I feel like I'm in the room.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't, because like to kind of what we were talking about before, like. You know, you try to go into it like, you know, with what you don't like, and I feel like between the two of us, like we try to ride the line of like actual like interview type stuff, like interview questions, but also like not keeping it to like just like, oh, you know, like kind of like one question or the other. It's very like, you know, because to me, like I look for that kind of stuff when I watch other podcasts, and I feel like doing this has been a pretty big learning process. I mean, for both of us, really, but you know, from like looking at other examples of stuff and liking or like figuring out just, you know, I guess that is another part of it. You know, finding out other things that maybe you like about other podcasts that you watch, and maybe you want to kind of like implement into like, you know, what we're doing based on, you know, rather than just trying to come up with stuff that's like super original and stuff, because a lot of times, yeah. Those same kind of things.
Yeah.
And also, when you're in a double, I guess, well, okay. I'm trying to think of. So, when you're in 2-lane traffic, right?
Okay.
When you're in 2-lane traffic.
Okay.
And you're trying to merge.
Okay.
Do you turn your blinker on or do you wait?
The blinker's on, but sometimes you just gotta wait.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then
But the blinker's always on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you mean, though?
Like I was hoping you'd kind of catch on to it. That whole, you know, I guess to the other point, like the Josta with Howard on it, where they're taking the driving test. I was hoping maybe you'd like click onto that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's been like a week since I listened to it, so I didn't jump on. That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he just kept throwing.
Yeah.
He just kept throwing in driving questions randomly, trying to get his driver's license.
Yeah. He's like, oh
Jamie
yeah, man.
Josta doesn't have a driver's.
Yeah. You know, it's like little stuff like that just like sticks out to me. It's like
me too.
Yeah, it just makes it a little more fun and stuff. And like just, you know, and like I think that's kind of, you know, I guess a bigger part of like the learning side of doing this is like just how to, because I remember like when we first started, it was very like to the point. It felt like, and now I feel like we're a little more comfortable with like just like, you know, whatever should come up. Like
I mean,
that's what happens.
I mean, like I said, that this is the first episode in a while where we've sat down with nothing.
Yeah.
This is just there were no bullet points.
Yeah.
There was nothing. We just wanted to do one, and we didn't know where any of this conversation would go when we sat down. I was like, well, good. You know, I just watched the Bill and Ted panel from Comic-Con. I was like, I could talk about, you know, we could at least start talking about Comic-Con a little bit since it's happening right now.
Yeah. Be topical.
And I knew I wanted to talk about the UFOs. But besides that, everything else you heard tonight was off the cuff. Yeah. Completely.
It's kind of cool, like, because you can almost tell when those episodes are like that based on like if we actually have like and even like just doing it really, like even like when we're midway through it, like I definitely feel like the Lamb of God episodes we were doing were a little more like structured. They were a little more like we had things that like we wanted to kind of follow and stuff. Whereas this one is just kind of all over the place. But like that's cool. Like that we can kind of like have episodes that are a little more. And that's, you know, I feel like that's
can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of adds that like extra. I don't know what the word is. Like that extra element to things. Which is always, you know, like that we can actually have ones that are a little more scripted, and then other ones that are kind of a little more like, you know, free flowing and stuff.
And it's not
I
even
like that balance.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do too. Honestly, it's a lot of especially right now. This is pretty much the most fun that I've had in a long time.
Yeah, man.
And I just love it, man. I just love it. I just I think
Hope to really do more with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, like when I sit down with somebody who I have, like I say, I have a guest on the podcast who I don't know, and typically that's more of a interviewee situation. But
yeah,
if I have any questions written down, they aren't the questions that if I have any, I don't always, but if I have any, they are questions that are I specifically pick them. They are designed to lead to more.
Yeah.
They're like every question that I write, I'm perfectly fine with. If that first one leads us down rabbit holes, we don't ever have to get to any of the others.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what I go for. I'm not going for like. Yeah, like just standard interview. Like I want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know.
To me, there's nothing more, and if you do this, I'm not saying anything specific. Like there's just things that I notice, and like I feel like there's nothing that kills the energy of like what could be a really really awesome interview with somebody than just an interviewer that is very like, oh, cool. So then it kind of goes on to this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Asks the question. It's like, oh, cool. All right.
Interesting.
So next question. Yeah.
How was this?
Yeah.
It kills the flow.
Yeah. And it also feels it's very one-sided to me. Like there's no room for any like actual
because
things like just like any other like stories or any other like things to happen that you want to hear about. Because to me, whenever I tune into a podcast, I guess I didn't really think about it until now, really. Like, whenever you look up, like interviews on YouTube or whatever, it's very like I feel like I look for something specific when I look for an interview based on like a podcast. Because to me, it's very like, I guess the first thing I look at is like who is it for, I guess, and like what is the point of it, and also like who's the guest and stuff, and so it's different based on finding a podcast that I like, or finding because I have straight up turned off like really like I think there was I don't remember who I was listening to. There was one like last week I feel like I was listening to, and like I actually turned it off halfway through because I didn't like the interviewer. And that really bummed me out because the who they were talking to and what they were talking about was so like close to home to me, and like it was something I wanted to hear about, but like how they were doing it and like the questions they were asking was very like just kind of dry to me, and it kind of killed it for me in a way. And so like I hope that we don't ever reach that point.
And I mean quite frankly too, like there
but then there's then there's the other side of like getting used to listening to something new. You know what I mean? Getting used to, because I've jumped into full podcasts that I've never really listened to just for the the guest that was on it.
100%.
Which is kind of what happened with with this one I was talking about. Like is the guest I really liked. I wanted to find more out about and stuff, and then it ended up being kind of it wasn't the greatest. Like it was but it's still like it was informative and stuff. But like it was just a certain point where I was like like.
I've had that. I've had similar experiences too.
It's a little bummer.
Yeah, and in fairness, like I mean, I know what I know about interviewing is by virtue of watching others do it.
Yeah.
No one's ever taught me, so I'm no expert on interviewing. I'm probably shitty at it, which is probably why I design my questions to be jump-offs for longer form conversations as opposed to bullet point questions, because I just don't know how to do that in a good way, you know what I mean. I just don't know. And there are great interviewers out there, but it's
seems like to me a lot of times, like if you have that and it's so close to it that, like, you know, if you say one thing, if you start one, a lot of times that leads into the next thing you were gonna ask, and it leads, but like completely by accident. Like, they'll just like whoever you're talking to will just kind of say it, and it's like, oh well, that was like all 4 things I had. Like,
yeah, that's actually what kind of happened to me a couple of times when I was talking to, shout out, A Suffocating Lie, who actually today just released a new fucking lyric video for their song All the Marbles.
fuck yeah, dude.
Check that shit out immediately.
That's sick. Yeah. That was a really badass song.
When when I was talking to them, I had a couple things written down, and we would like start one thing and it would just the next 4 things I've already had covered. So that was great. That was that
was such a cool interview because like I could tell you were all just kind of like, you know, chilling. Like there wasn't like any pressure or anything. It was just very like you know.
It was I was nervous as shit, but like besides that, that was a great. I had so much fun with them. It was a great time, and I can't wait to have them back. Fucking A, I can't wait to see them one day. Like, and actually meet them in person. Like, they would, dude, there are a few, not many, but there are a few bands that I have told them, if you ever make it up here to Michigan, the party's going down.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
yeah.
So it'll happen one day. It will happen one day. And I'm unbelievably excited. How cool would it be if they played like Michigan Metal Fest next year or something? Like, oh my god!
Yeah, man.
Oh, we would fuck that day up.
Yeah,
it would be great. Man, yeah, that was fun. We got another one coming up soon too. Surprise, spoilers. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but
just like interviews versus podcasts and stuff, and
and it was a great time. God, dude, my dad told me, my dad told me about some people that he knows. My dad works for Michigan State University, and he told me about some people that he knows that are trying to start a podcast. And these are people that don't listen to podcasts. And these are people that are retired. So that age range. Okay?
Yeah.
And he told me about how they're trying to start it. And I'm just sitting there like, everything they're doing is literally anti-podcast. Like, he actually, Aaron...
Is this something we should like hate on? Like,
I'm not hating on it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it just fascinated me that there are people out there.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
That like that they don't. How do I want to put this? It's they want to make a podcast. You're good. They want to make a podcast like for NPR. And I'm like,
so you want to do a talk show essentially?
Well, I mean that's essentially what podcasts are.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's backwards. That's you're going in the wrong direction. Like nobody listens to NPR. Like they got like I don't know, like multi-million views, a day or whatever, but it pales in comparison to podcast numbers.
Yeah.
And it like I guess they did like Aaron. you see what we got. You see our equipment.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it. Look at this, people.
We're gonna do a.
This is what you're sitting in front of right now. This is the volume. This is the mixer. This is where the microphones are hooked up to. This is behind the scenes.
So YouTube. It's gonna be our rig rundown for the day. All right. We got
a couple microphones.
Yeah.
A couple stands. This is all we got. All right, dude.
Shouts out to Sennheiser for some mics and some headphones.
Sennheiser, sure.
Shouts out to Buffalo Trace for keeping us
nose.
slightly like less than hydrated than we probably should be.
Shouts out to Dio, Children of Bottle, Black Dollar.
I don't know. Anyway,
Dude, he told me they conducted some kind of study that concluded it would cost $200,000 a year to do a podcast.
What? No. What? We're doing this for free, man. What are you talking about?
this everything you see on this table was the cost.
If
this
you're
was the upfront cost right here.
yeah,
And the computer.
yeah.
But
I mean,
and the camera.
I could see like your, the investment, sure, does cost us,
Dude.
No.
I'm talking you get the best fucking mixer. I'm not even sure if they wanted a video element. Let's say you get the best mixer, best cameras, best Telecaster, best microphones, best fucking all this shit. You would have to almost stretch to spend $5,000.
yeah.
Like
Unless you want like gold ass microphones, maybe. Sure. Like
literally made out of solid gold.
yeah.
Like I was like, where did they get that number?
Yeah.
Who did they ask? What did they talk to? What did
Yeah.
so the fact think about that. Like that's a
It is-
thing out there.
It is pretty interesting that because and I guess it is kind of the same way because I've watched a lot of, and that was kind of why I was making a little bit of a parody of of the rig rundown stuff because I have watched quite a bit because I have been thinking about getting a little more into YouTube and kind of trying to figure all that stuff out, and I like to kind of see everybody else's setup and stuff, but that's like one of the main things that they say a lot, and I can definitely attest to that with music, being a drummer, being somebody that has more equipment than anybody in the band. I could say that you don't really need very much to do something like this. It's just it's the intention and it's how you kind of present it that gives it what it turns out to be. And if you kind of go into it oh, I need at least $5,000 to do this and to it's. I mean,
that's not. You're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You're going about it the wrong way.
I mean, we started this with a bullet microphone and
it was a blue.
Yeah.
It was a.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What do they call it? Yeti?
Yeah.
Like a Yeti Blue or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
We were both talking into one microphone.
Sitting
right
parallel.
next to each
Yeah.
other. Not on camera. We didn't have a camera's brand new.
Yeah.
We just got on camera during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's I could see expecting that and expecting
it's just the idea of.
But you kind of lose the point of what it is.
Right. The whole point is sitting down, talking into a microphone, and releasing it.
Yeah.
That is the point. And if you surround it with, we need the right equipment, we need a website, we need this and that. Now you're just bogging yourself down and preventing yourself from doing it. You're putting obstacles in your own way.
Yeah.
And
a lot of
they're
times
unnecessary.
Yeah. A lot of times you kind of talk yourself out of things, and especially I could speak from a musician standpoint of feeling oh well, if I just had this one thing, then I'd sound sweet, or oh if I had this one, if I had this guitar players oh if I had this pedal or this this thing it would be I'd do this, but then for one, gearheads. It's never enough. You never just buy one thing. You never just, buy. Yeah.
It's never going to be enough.
Because it's always, and then you kind
It's
of
always
go.
the next thing.
Yeah. Then you kind of go into that point of oh, well, I have this, but I need this to do this. And then you stop doing the overall thing that you thought you would do because of equipment, and because it's really you miss the point.
Exactly.
I mean, we've had full before all the Skype stuff that happened. I mean, I remember a few weeks into the the pandemic stuff, in the stay at home stuff, you would call me and have me on speakerphone while you'd still be recording here, and that's how we would do it.
Yeah.
And then that turned into maybe Skype's an option.
Fuck,
maybe
I forgot
that's
we did that.
it's yeah, man. I remember a couple of times you'd be like, oh, I'm going live. If you, I want to give you a call here in a little bit or whatever. And so I'd be kind of sitting there and stuff. And so yeah, those first few episodes are kind of, of the pandemic are kind of what turned into
where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, as much of, you know, as much as it's important to have good sounding stuff, and as much as I feel like that does only add to the quality of things, like when you're starting out with, you know, doing all this stuff, like you really like it's about the purpose of it and the intention. It's not about like
It's about DIY till you die.
yeah.
It's about,
Basically, yeah.
It's about figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that process, and it's cool for me as a podcast fan to hear, and so I hope it is for our fans.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah.
Well, shit, man. You want to wrap? What are we at?
2:30.
2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! I thought we'd be going for like 40 minutes.
This is what happens, people. This is
2.5 hours.
honestly, this is
great.
yeah. This is kind of like our first like. It feels very much like a behind the scenes episode almost.
Kinda.
Like
bit.
talking about some other
Talking a little
stuff.
shop.
Yeah.
We even showed off the equipment.
Yeah. Hey.
Fuck. Yeah, let's wrap this one up.
Right on.
Let's save something for the next one.
Yeah.
Shit, hold on. We gotta end this proper though. Get a little sippy poo.
So to kind of
Give me some updates on Ball Break.
yeah, man. We are at the moment we are still figuring out our streaming stuff. There's always it's a very like trial and error. Very much like this is.
You're still doing it.
Yeah, we as we're still planning Mondays. Usually around 6 or 7 is when we start with things. We've been kind of trying to figure out like because I mean all of us have been pretty busy with various different things, and it's been pretty tough to kind of get us all on the same schedule. But we've been pretty consistent with doing Mondays, Monday nights,
Yeah,
Monday
you have.
evenings,
You've been doing really good with that.
which is cool.
Mhm.
I like that there's that constant thing, that constant, defined like day that's
Schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of that. We've been kind of grinding away at figuring out what's going to work a little bit better with things. We've been, anybody that's been on Twitch within the last couple weeks knows how just it is. Twitch is kind of a mess right now, and I won't go too far into it. But it's kind of the reason that like we've been having a lot of. I mean, I don't know, just a lot of technical issues and stuff. And so like we, last week we kind of went into it and I think we got about maybe close to an hour, and then I don't really remember. I think we had some stuff happen with our computer, like the signal dropped on it and stuff. But as far as I know, it was all like Twitch stuff. Like it was all like sample rate stuff and just things that was just out of our control. So we had to kind of cut that one a little bit short. But yeah, like it's, we're still definitely interested in doing a lot of like the songwriting stuff. We've been writing a lot more like just like jams and stuff. I feel like is a kind of become a bigger part of like practice streaming. Because like we'll play a couple of songs that we wrote, and like we'll kind of keep it like organized and that and stuff. But then like there will be like a 10 or 15 minute just point where like we'll just start playing stuff.
Oh yeah.
And that to me is really fun because
Yeah.
like it's as organic as it could possibly be. Like
Yeah.
none of us really know what we're doing, but we all know we're on the same kind of idea with the song and stuff. And a lot of times like it turns into something that's like, you kind of look back on it, it's like, oh man, that was cool. Like that could be something potentially. So it's kind of a different way that we've been writing, I guess.
Have you ever tried to just live stream right to YouTube?
We've definitely talked about that, going through different services and doing, maybe like the Instagram live thing and just like, the Facebook live stuff. And I think that Twitch is very, for the time that it was, and even still now, like just with the whole concept of streaming, like that's kind of the main one to be at if you're
Yeah.
gonna try to do streaming stuff. But there's been a lot of weird like business side stuff that's kind of changed what Twitch is and kind of like made it sort of go into a different direction. So it's been kind of a mess, and sometimes like we'll be ready to stream from just like directly from Twitch, and we'll have to like refresh it a couple of times, or we'll have to like kind of work around just some weird kind of stuff that's been happening within the program or within the within the service and stuff. So, but yeah, I think we're more so talking about, just like, because we got a full like computer set for the live room right now that we've been using, but that doesn't really apply to the writing streams that we've been doing.
Okay.
That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
And right now I think we're a little bit more in the process of trying to figure out how we can do a little bit more with the streaming stuff and have it actually work how we want it to, and not have so many issues and so many things that like are just just a bit. It's really kind of a pain in the ass in some in some senses.
Well, maybe on the next time we're in person, we try to just stream straight to YouTube and see how it works. Test it out on a podcast. And then if it works better than your experience with Twitch, maybe you bring that back to the band and you're like, well, hey, we did the Lost in the Dark live on YouTube and it flawless. It never dropped. It never did nothing. If that's the case, But all the other times I've watched live videos on YouTube, I've never seen a problem either.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, I've never even really like gotten into like live streaming on YouTube.
Well, for until the last few months, Rogan always aired live, so there were
That's true.
a number of Rogan episodes I watched live.
Yeah. That is kind of a cool. Like I definitely do like that kind of experience, and that like and we've kind of started doing that with our episodes, like setting a time and like having it premiere and stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And having
I've been liking that.
Yeah. And eventually, like, because I know I follow a lot of other YouTubers and people on there that do that same sort of thing, and they have like their own chat going at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's something
Yeah,
that
we
I
actually
feel like would be
like if we were to try it live, if anybody were to watch while we're doing it, they could directly chat with us. Maybe I don't know how many would watch, but if I saw any fucking words pop up on the screen, I'd roll over there and see what was up. But yeah. That's something we could try. We could try it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
If fuck, it would be a lot less work for me having to put on finalize the video and put the intro on and post it. That episode wouldn't have an intro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's our first ever live episode. We can just try. Dude. We've done everything else. We might as well try it live at this point. I don't see why not.
But yeah, as far as to kind of wrap it up, as far as like the bog race stuff, there's things happening. Like I'll definitely say like we're in. I feel like we're kind of in the early stages of a writing phase. We're throwing ideas kind of around to put some new stuff together, and so hopefully I can't even.
Don't say anything you're not supposed to say.
Well, at this point, like it would basically be me just being like, yeah, this is what's happening, without saying anything. So like I would like to say that we are going to be, because the idea right now is to put out the Orcs song that we worked on Twitch.
Orcs?
That one's about 98% finished. If you've been following us on Twitch and doing that whole thing, like that was one of the songs that we'd worked on. So that one, as far as like a couple other things, that one's about wrapped up. And then there's another one that's called Savage that we've been kind of throwing around. The initial idea of it was to have it be like an homage to like Randy Savage. Like it was just kind of started off as a joke kind of song, but it's turned into like something that, and at least I hope it's turned into something that we can, kind of use and like play live and stuff. Cause
that sounds awesome.
But yeah, right now, like, I feel like we're definitely in the early planning stages and like riffing stages of putting the next piece together. So yeah, which is really exciting. And it's like it's cool to have, and that's why I'm really excited, but I'm also really bummed that the Twitch stuff has been going the way that it has, because like I've really been enjoying having that element to things and being able to just have people just like like we're live streaming, like check out like what's happening and stuff, and just kind of being able to like give people a little bit more of an inside like an inside take at sort of like the writing process and some of like the songs that we're doing, and it's a whole new, and like and just as a fan just watching other musicians and other Matt Heafy does it from Trivium a lot. There's a few others that do it. But yeah, just kind of like knowing that we've kind of we're at the point where, very much like the podcast stuff, like we're at the point where we're comfortable with what we're doing, but we also know that like there's other things that we got to kind of add on to and kind of figure out and stuff to to do and stuff. So it's been really cool. It's been really exciting. So
Fuck yeah, man.
if you're interested, Mondays usually like 6 or 5 or 6 usually. I don't know, we post about it. So.
Yes. Follow Bog
Yes.
Race on all social media. Twitch. Are you on Twitter? Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube, and Bandcamp.
I'm sure we are on Twitch, but I don't fucking use it. So.
Are you on? Is some of your merch? What's that
Oh.
other site where your merch is at besides Bandcamp?
Yeah, we merch stuff. Yeah, Bandcamp, Bogwraith, MI at Bandcamp, or just Bogwraith. If you Google us, I'm sure like Bogwraith
It pops
Bandcamp.
up. It does pop up.
Yeah. Or
Discogs. They're even on Discogs.
Yeah, I don't know who's responsible for that, but yeah, it wasn't any of us. But yeah,
Amazon Music, Spotify.
Crowdkill Apparel.
Crowdkill Apparel.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a couple of our All Hail designs up, which are pretty sick. I'm still like there's things on there that I even want that I'm like
That you don't have yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
If anybody else has this, I'm so jealous. Like
I want that fucking like the bathrobe.
yeah, we got bathrobes, we got shower mats, we got a full like bed set, man.
Don't you have like shower curtains?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh fuck! If my shower took curtains, that would be it.
Yeah. So yeah, we are, to answer your question directly, we are working on things, like it's all in motion right now.
Very exciting.
Learning, going back and relearning songs and adding new songs to the set, and finally, yeah, we just added back in, or for the first time rather, Sigil, which is one of my all-time favorites from Omen. Such a fun song to play. So yeah, there's For those that are interested, we're definitely still doing stuff. There's still, a lot of stuff in the works, and so.
Fucking amen. Between that, Recorruptor dropping something new soon.
Shout out, man.
Fuck out.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard those two new singles, Tormented, Egress, and what's the other one titled? Here, I got it right here. Souls of Limbo.
Yeah.
Tormented, Egress, and Souls of Limbo are the two singles that are currently out off the upcoming Funeral Corridor album. I believe due out August? Is that August or September? It's August or September. I'm fucking up. We've had a few.
I'm pretty sure it's August. Yeah.
We've had a few, but regardless, shout out to Recorruptor. Phenomenal. They are our brothers. They have been on the show many times, and we can't wait to have them back on. Especially the Caleb, the new guitarist, I believe. Yeah. It's like, really can't wait to have him on. So excited. We're going to talk all about aliens. We're going to fucking go deep on aliens and conspiracy theories. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. Funeral Corridor, August 21st.
Thank you.
Yes, August 21st.
Thank you. August 21st, Funeral Corridor. Cannot wait. But yeah, I guess.
That's all I got.
All right, let's wrap this one up.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be it from us. Once again, be sure to follow Recorruptor on all social media. A suffocating lie, a fitting revenge, and of course, Bog Wraith, the Boggy Boys of Lansing.
We're all right.
The Swamp Beasts.
We're okay.
The Swamp Beasts. The fucking creatures from the Dark Lagoon. Like. It's fucking, yeah. Be sure to follow them on all things Bandcamp. Hey, also, Bandcamp announced they're continuing their Bandcamp Fridays.
Oh, shit.
So if you buy from Bandcamp, stuff off from bands off Bandcamp on Fridays, I believe all the way through September. Like every Friday, I believe, or something like that. What is it? Now, is it all proceeds go to the band? direct. They waive their cut. Yeah. So if you get shit off Bandcamp on Friday, all your money goes directly to supporting the fucking artists you love. And it's such an awesome thing that Bandcamp is doing there, stepping up during this time. And I definitely wanted to give that a shout out. So be sure to check that out. Check out Bog Wraith, Recorruptor, A Fitting Revenge, and Suffocating Light. All these bands on Bandcamp. Shit, what else? Green Leaves, fucking who else is from Michigan? Throne, Snafu. Yeah, there's so many great ones from Michigan. But also, be sure to support your local scene wherever the fuck you are from, because, I mean, it all starts with us. It all starts with the fans, and it all starts with the bands making the music that we love, and then us loving it and promoting it and getting it out there and letting everybody know they need to be hearing this shit. So that's critical, more critical now than ever.
Without the artist, there's no music business.
So support your fucking artists, people. Support them. They need it now more than ever. If your favorite local venues are doing any kind of fundraiser for their employees or anything like that, follow them on social media. That's where it'll be. Check it out. I follow all my favorite fucking venues on all social media for announcements and all that kind of stuff. But now it's just, for opportunities to support them during this time, because these are places I do not want to see go away. And these are bands I do not want to see go away ever. Yeah. So we are metalheads. Now is the time to step up.
And the last thing I'll say, it's fairly topical, but if Slipknot can be around for close to 30 years, play shows where they can't breathe,
break their bodies,
break themselves, set themselves on fire
under hundreds of degree light and 90-degree heat, in front of crowds of thousands.
Yeah. You can wear a mask in public.
You can wear a fucking mask to the fucking store.
And if we ever want to have anything normal ever again, if we want to have shows again, like just please, just be safe. Wear a mask. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together. Yeah.
We'll get through this, and then we will pit again.
It will be glorious.
Oh!
And all just
so glorious.
I guess I say that to say, it's crazy out there, and right now, all any of us want to do is just go to shows. And I know that there's temptations and there's things that happen, but just please, I mean, myself included, the sooner we can do this, the sooner we can get back to what's important.
Going to see fucking Ozzy live.
Yeah.
Going to see fucking everybody live. Going, getting back in the fucking pit.
Something. Yeah.
Guess who's coming out of Mosh Retirement when this is all over? I am breaking my body. I don't give a fuck, dude, anymore. It's over. It's going down. Total fucking chaos. I cannot. That, in a big bad way, it's what is keeping me going right now. Is just the thought of how amazing it's going to be once we can finally get back.
Yeah.
So, stay safe and do what you can to make sure we get back to a concert as soon as possible, so that we just okay? You don't understand how fucking pent up a metalhead gets when you can't release at a concert. So,
yeah. So anyway, that was the last thing I wanted to say.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. And let's do this together.
Gotta be smart. So
yeah.
Just be safe.
Yep. And then hopefully this time next summer, I will have multiple broken bones.
Well,
can't rule it out right now. I'm telling you, that pit is getting fucked up.
I could tell you, I've never wanted to crowd surf more than, and
I've never crowd surfed.
That is something that I have done.
You have?
Oh, dude, a couple of times.
Oh, nice, dude.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah. That
we've been trying to wrap this up. Yeah.
Best part of the podcast, bro, is when we try to end it. We talk for another hour.
So what happens?
We do it almost every time. Cheers, my brother.
Hey.
Cheers on this night of the fucking beast. We went deep into the murky waters tonight, everybody. But having said that, we're going to wrap this up.
Time to depart.
Time to depart. We hope you enjoyed. Check out all the bands we mentioned earlier. Check out your local bands on Bandcamp on Fridays. All of it's incredibly important now more than ever. So do that. Be sure to do that. And that's going to be it from us tonight. We will be back again, as always, very soon. And, of course, as always, raise your fucking horns! Bang your heads! We love you all to death. Good night!